Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Trader TV Live. Futures red to start the morning over here with the NQ down 0.25%. Likewise with the ES down 0.14. The Dow down 0.5%, but the Russell 2000 up here to start the morning 0.25%. All eyes, though, on oil as the Trump administration looks to put more sanctions on Russian oil companies. Oil back above $61 a barrel and about 5% here to start the morning. Bitcoin as well, trying to work its way back into that $110,000 level. Lots of earning names to talk about. Of course, Tesla in focus. EPS missed, but a revenue beat, down almost 4% here to start the morning. Likewise with IBM, down 7.33%. But all eyes in equities will be on quantum as the Trump administration looks to take possible stakes in the group. They're all trending higher, as well as BYND giving back substantial gains, down 20% here to start the morning. Adara.
Yeah, the Beyond Meat move, certainly something potentially for a continuation play. Absolutely going to be on watch there. In addition to quantum and oil, we also have some other earnings names tonight that are going to be on watch here. Intel, of course, Mobileye, which they've invested heavily in. Mobileye reported this morning. Intel, though, they report after the bell, along with Deckers and Ford. Then there's also other names here on earnings day one watch as well. We had LRCX, MOH, Molina Healthcare, which is down 18%. So tons of names to watch in the earnings space and also beyond that.
All right, guys, American Airlines as well, nicely up here in the pre-market, 4.25%. Good report for them. Good morning, boys.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, good for them. Not so much for Tesla, though. It wasn't all bad for Tesla, but costs going up and price wars keeping prices down. It's not going to be the best. They had good revenues, ultimately down 4% today. Because why not? After earnings day, you got to test 420, right? Seems like it's almost inevitable that we'd see that price. So look, there's going to be a lot to watch here today. We'll have Intel after the bell, but those quantum stocks, looking at you, Rigetti, could this be the temporary bottom? I don't know. Usually when Trump administration says we're looking to take a stake or interested in a stake or some kind of a deal with a sector or a company, you want to be involved. So looking for some Rigetti longs here today. Yeah, not good for Tesla, but there's always something which is looking pretty strong. Looks like it's quantum space today.
Yeah, it's kind of looking at the Nasdaq here this morning. It's it's not great. So when I woke up, I was like, okay, the market's flattish, and now it's down. So I'm going to resume shorting today. May start with Intel at some point. 37 looks pretty good to me. Upside here for INTC reporting tonight. Mobileye and Intel, of course. Intel has a stake in Mobileye, and Mobileye yesterday with the report as well. So we'll see. Not doing too much here volume-wise, so I'm not expecting that to be too big of a check. NVIDIA underneath 180 again right now to start. I was saying to Neil, he wasn't here yesterday. I know it's a name that he has, and I wanted to buy some, and then I know I still can, but the thing is this went to 530. Like GE Vernova yesterday, same with Vertiv. Like that's actually happened here. So it got waxed real good, but it only got back into July. So there's many stocks right now that are like, we have Netflix, which we called that play. We didn't wind up taking anything, but that probably has 1,000 handle in it for sure, but that's April's low. So we still have, if the market's going to fall back in, we still do have a hell of a long way to go.
I'm saying, like, if you
and then
I don't care what the stock is. If it goes that parabolic, you have to trim. People say don't sell at all-time highs. But like if a stock is not normally a parabolic stock, goes parabolic, things are. I mean,
I'm always selling at all-time highs, at least 5 or 10%.
That's what I'm
saying. I don't think there's any reason. I mean, that's why we raise capital.
People say it. I don't say it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's a perfect example with SMR. We sold this literally at all-time highs, and now I'm getting an opportunity to buy it back almost 50% better. Back down into here. So if I like the stock, this is another great opportunity to maybe pick something up. So I think that there is an opportunity, to get involved with many of these names as they come. I don't want to say crashing down, but in this case, like an SMR, a Rigetti. I mean, yesterday I liked the story that Sharif was talking about there in the quantum space. With the U.S. government looking to again take a stake, I guess, somewhere else, and that's we saw what that did to Intel, MP, all the metals names as well. So if they're going to go now quantum, that makes sense. But for me, you know, if it's going to be a quantum, I think all the other names are great to play with, you know, great opportunities, but I think Google, you know, is going to eventually be the name that everyone's going to be looking at for quantum. The thing is that the Rigetti, the QBTSs of the world, and you'd want to talk about selling at all-time highs. If as long as you were in this name at any point, basically in the last year, I would say you're going to be doing fine. I mean, that was a huge bump up there. We did go parabolic over the last 2 weeks. Came back in yesterday. Wow, like even into $26 is very, very, like this was a dollar stock. You know, so anything up here is still reasonable. You're still above the 50-period moving average. So, yeah, I think there's a lot to trade today. We didn't even look at IBM. I mean, I was going to look over those numbers, and I was thinking if they have a watershed moment like Vertiv did, like GEV did yesterday, this is probably one.
I'd be more careful because IBM
just another AI
has been doing this, selling off on.
It has a roller coaster.
It did the same thing last earnings, but it wasn't like a 2 or 3 day event. Like it actually sold off for a couple of weeks, and then it was a great bottom. And then after that bottom, it went to all-time highs. If you just bought it like a couple of weeks after, it went right back.
The thing is, I'm not smart enough to pick bottoms. Like it's. I'm just trying to think about like.
We got to the 200 last.
Right. Yeah. So if it's company, that's what I mean. If this can go for a run today and get down into here, then I feel like then, you know, I'm buying back at the beginning of the year again. So this is January. So if we get an opportunity to do that, then we get another name that we like. But my portfolio is just littered with tech names, so that's why I'm cheering on in the open, not in the dark. You know, stocks like Lululemon. Wow, okay, good, back up to 180. So that's had a ride as well. Down yesterday, was up to 182. I'm cheering on names like Target as well, that we recently bought. I think at a depressed price down there at $88. So hopefully that continues to work out. And then I still like the bank stocks, which got hit yesterday as well. But you know, back. I don't know if it's back up yet. I didn't look today, but we know we like the SoFi $28 level, so we can see if that breaks higher today on SoFi. Down. Sorry, I thought SoFi was up about 1% or so, but they're down. Does that mean that Robinhood is down too? Here, I'm just
probably
sort of
closer to flat.
Yeah, we're just spitballing some names here because. You know, I wanted to go over like all the different sectors a little bit here just to see what was potentially popping and dropping. And I mean, that's another example right here. You're now down $25 on 150, right? So, I mean, you're down like 13, 14% on Robinhood. Some of these names are getting to be bear territory. But again, I think that more applies to the market because in this day and age, Neil, stocks are not moving a percent or two a day. Like a stock can go bullish to bearish in a week. You know, so you got to be specific on your pullbacks.
Yeah, I feel like the whole like for bullish and bearish on individual names.
They need to rewrite that.
Yeah, it's just a totally different ball game because these stocks have all. Like you have like I was saying, you have stocks that don't normally do double and triple ups on the year, and you don't expect them to be that. There's one stock that I'm disappointed in Lumen. Before we go back to the desk for a quick second, because. When I saw this story that they announced like a Palantir, they already had the thing going with Palantir, but they also announced further partnership, I suppose, a $200 million deal between Palantir and Lumen. And I looked over, like, okay, I remember this stock. Maybe it's got a second salvo, looking like it was going to break out. But somebody is holding it down. It's only done 1 million shares volume, but someone's holding it under VWAP here. If this could be a breakout today, just don't know if I like the volume on it, but I'm gonna keep it on the back burner because the last time they announced a partnership with Palantir, it did get a bit of more than 2%.
Randy, the plums yesterday were not a hit, so let's replace them.
It's not my fault.
Let's replace them.
I will be eating this one. I promise you that.
What's wrong with them?
I don't know, nothing. Neil said it was out. You guys didn't like the plums? I said, oh my God, we didn't even think about the plums. I'd rather drink a coffee, though.
Very adamant about.
If you eat your plum, you'll get a coffee.
Guess I'll have to get my own coffee.
There's conditions on it now.
I mean, the plums are.
I don't know.
Look, Randy. Look. I'm eating it.
I'm having my banana first.
We made a deal, I thought.
There was a deal.
They're actually pretty good.
See?
Try not to eat too much, like
Can't go wrong with that.
on the air, though.
I do.
Nothing hamster. I love plums. This is yesterday. Honestly, he brought them there. I think Opie and I were like, "Oh, good plums." We just never got talking about it. Mark showed up yesterday in the afternoon with a bunch of cookies and donuts and the usual stuff. And
donuts.
Was super impressed with everything that's happening behind us.
What's up, Joe? He's chilling. Is his computer's getting repaired?
Oh, yeah. Wilson Capital trying to get a little closer over here. The merger is on. Thing is, his company's more valuable than mine, so we gotta negotiate.
He's dressing up every.
I know. I don't know what he's doing.
You got the hoodie going on. It is cold in here, but yeah.
Today's got the better look going on.
Well, let's mosey on up to the desk and.
Yeah, well, we don't have to.
See what we got. I thought we had maybe Luis today, but I don't know.
Do we have Luis today? Is it Thursday yet?
It's Thursday. Okay, so maybe we don't have Luis, but we still have.
Come on, Luis. Like, what else is going on in Barcelona? Beautiful weather, beautiful women, beautiful food.
All right, we got Sharif in this area.
Come on, Luis.
Let's get to more of these Tesla earnings here, as I'm sure a lot of our viewers want to know exactly how it all went down. So the earnings call was really interesting yesterday. Very little was given by Elon Musk in terms of a timeline for the new products, other than to say we're expecting a lot more Q1, Q2 next year. Let's talk about how their revenue did. So they beat on the top line, missed on the bottom line. Revenue grew 12% year over year, up to $28.1 billion, but a lot of that has to be attributed to the pull forward of the $7,500 EV tax credit, as well as discounts on several models. As I mentioned, EPS came in at 50 pennies. The street wanted 54, and net income as well, falling 37% year over year on the quarter, down to $1.37 billion, really pressured again by price cuts. But this is what caught my attention, boys. A 50% jump in R&D spending, really tied to AI and robotics projects. They're also selling less regulatory credits, which dropped 44% year over year. Regulatory credits was one of the reasons they were even profitable to begin with. EV price reductions, as I mentioned, and the expiration of the U.S. federal EV tax credit had a pull forward effect. They still continue to face headwinds in Europe, Adera, but he did comment excessively about the CyberCab, Optimus, and the expansion of the robotaxi fleet in Austin and the Bay Area.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about those comments, actually. So Elon Musk saying that Tesla's robotaxi could actually be going driverless in Austin by the end of this year, though the amount of cities he now sees them targeting immediately a little bit lower than some of his previous projections. And he made a lot of comments about Optimus. He did talk about the struggles here with production for Optimus 2, specifically saying that it's a little bit more difficult than it looks. And then with regards to the CyberCab, as Sharif mentioned there, they're actually saying, or he's saying that he wants them to go into production. He thinks they're going to go into production for that CyberCab by Q2 2026. So within actually less than a year from now. So good look here. Let's see if those production goals are met.
All right, guys. So right now they're just in Austin and the Bay Area. Of course, we're talking about the robotaxi, but he made comments that he wants to actually have robotaxis on the ground in 8 to 10 metro areas by the end of the year. It's only a couple of months left.
Yeah, so like in Elon speak, does that mean like 4 to 5 we'll actually get? Like, because usually like the expectations or the targets that get set in terms of timelines and whatnot tend, let's be real, they tend to be a little bit enthusiastic from Elon Musk. So look, it's at the end of the day, he even said it himself last quarter that this could be a little bit rough. So I feel like it's one of those, it was already priced on a double.
Thank you
Going back, thank you very much. Like this is doubled up. We said you'd almost be foolish not to take some profit up here when it goes 220 to the 440 level. And ultimately, anything went wrong and you were going to get a little bit of a dump. The real question, or pullback, I should say, I think the real question is, okay, well, long term, what do you see it as? And if you're like most people that are invested in it and are like, okay, car business, fine, it wasn't as expected, but they're pushing to invest in the areas where they believe the future growth is going to be. When you're able to bring XAI into the vehicles, when you're talking about autonomous, when you're talking about when you're talking about robotaxi, when you're talking about Optimus, those are the things that most of us are more interested in as long-term holders. I don't think that helps us in the short term. I just don't see it. Like up here, all anyone's going to care about is this number. So I'm kind of feeling like this is a bit of a fade back into, we're already at 420, so I'm looking at the 430 level, which is a prior support. It just has me thinking, if the army comes in to buy this up, I think it has to take the prior low yesterday and then maybe ramp from there. But as long as you're somewhere in that gap, or at the 25, I'd play the fade down into, I believe 412 is the recent support. So all the things that I love about Tesla, I don't see why that matters as much in the short term, but I think it could be due for a little bit of a pullback.
Look at this, I tweeted this out yesterday. This is wild. Like, this is a robot. Like, oh my God, the music is pretty jamming. I'm gonna turn that music off. Yeah, so like this? Are you kidding me? Like, look at the feet, like the movement here, that Optimus, like I saw this in the mall on last weekend, and yeah, there was one at Sherway. Yeah, there's one of these guys at Sherway Gardens. Yeah, it's this to me is what it is. It's not anything else. Like this is better moves. I mean, this could dance me out of the club. That's for sure. Like, look at this.
Have you seen the Olympics for robots? Like,
the Olympics?
Yeah, they have.
No, that's gonna be sick.
They have actual like Olympics. With They already do this stuff. Like, it's crazy.
So I don't know, man. I mean, that's something that I was thinking about there. But see, Tesla's expected move was 7%. You know, right here, we tweeted that out yesterday. Thanks to Adara for that. It's just, it's only down 4%, and it's down. You know, it's not catching bids. I don't think today. I hope it does. I mean, I'm a holder of Tesla stock. But like, if this can get anywhere near 430, I think that's a short again. I mean, I'm just going, like, whenever there's this gap, we say play to VWAP, but not on Tesla, man. I mean, VWAP right here is now $1 away, so we're not worried about that. It's been very consistent, with its price movements here in the morning. It hasn't really given us too many ranges to worry about, other than, again, sort of this, where the 200 period moving average is, which is at 430. I'm favoring short today in the market, so I gotta look short in Tesla. So I think, you know, a break rate here, like 410. You know, yesterday we called 1115 for Netflix, and that was when it was at 1170. So that fell down, you know, another $60, $70 from where we opened, and that's an $1,100 stock. So chop the price in half, and let's think about, can this drop another $20 or $30? Yes, it can, and if it does, then you're going to be looking at that 400 or so zone. So I'm just going to wait to see what kind of a move Tesla has today. You know, we've already, Sharif and Adara went through the numbers there. It's not horrible. Like, as I said, the market is where it is. My big worry about all these guys is like Waymo. Google's not moving at all, but there's over 800 Waymo cars, I think, in San Francisco or something already. So just the footprint that's already there, and then you're going to add robo-taxis. It's not like he's first mover on this anymore. It's just going to be, it'll be a changer for the needle a little bit for Tesla's earnings, but I think it's going to take a minute to adapt and adopt that technology in order to compete with other options that are already out there. So I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to get, you know, full self-drive and all that kind of stuff here in Canada with the cabs and everything, but that's still ways away. And I think it has a little bit ways to go down right now. So I'm going to wait for it. The market's volatile now, and this is a big stock. So like you said, if the buyers, and it's a cult stock, so if they come in and want to take this name up, great.
Can't fight it forever.
That's going to be great. So I'm only going to fight it. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm only going to fight it to 430. So I'm going to wait 428, 429, 430, something like that, if we can short into there. And then we'll probably just, if it continues to tank, it's not tanking, but if it continues to go down, then I think we can play a bounce back to VWAP. So if it gets down to like 417 or 418, then bounces back to 422 or wherever VWAP is at that time, then I think that's a short. So again, I like the stock. It's not great, right? It's down 4%, and it's doing decent volume, 2 million shares. I think it's going to be an interesting name to look at there today. And remember yesterday, Neil, we had, I think it was, I don't know, 2,000 votes. And I said, is Tesla going to be red or green? Right?
Well,
and it was
60% red?
50-50. It was, I was saying it was like the US election. It was literally, we were going 700, 50-50, 50-50. I think it wound up being a little bit more to the green side. I think it might have been 51-49 or 52-48 by the time it was over with.
Surprised by that.
But Ramin put a red car on our video. So that was maybe potentially Ramin is the oracle of SoCal here, but there it goes. Nice move down for Tesla today. So if you picked green, you're wrong, like I did. If you picked red, like Obi did, then you are right. So yeah, downside move right there for Tesla today. Let's see if it holds.
Guys, let's talk a little Viking Therapeutics. They reported after the bell yesterday, up nicely to start the morning here, 7 and almost 7.33%. So look, they missed on Q3 profit estimates, but there was a lot to like about this report. Not really the financials. It was more about the product pipeline. Their venture study results. They have a phase 2 venture study for their drug titled VK2735, which achieved primary and secondary endpoints with about 12.2% weight loss. They also have a phase 3 trial, which is on schedule. And today they got the nod from several different rating agencies, not the least of which Morgan Stanley, bumping up their price target from $98 to $102. Guys, this thing's trading at $34, and we saw this sell off aggressively when they missed their earning, or they missed in their phase, I think, 2 study back in November of last year, and it has been on a downward move. Also reporting earnings back in August, Adara dropped significantly down to $25, but these rating agencies like it for over $100.
Yeah, and it makes sense too here with, as you go through that pipeline, they've got quite a few things coming down the line here. They also reported a quarter-end cash position of $715 million. Not a bad look. Now, as you mentioned, they're larger than expected loss per share, and it's worth noting as well, this is significantly larger than their loss of 22 cents per share on a year-over-year basis. The loss is expanded. Now, in terms of more details here, 25.25% short float. So roughly a quarter of the float is sold short, $3.5 billion market cap for VKTX.
All right, guys, we're closing in on 9% here to start the morning on Viking.
Look, my thing on Viking is I still think they need to get bought out. That being said, it has been good to play off the 50 period for the stock, just with a huge caveat. When they have a trial result, this candle, like if you were long off the, and I'm saying this like with a laugh and a smile because I happened to get filled. I'm like, well, that was pretty lucky. When it did this crazy move, and I wish I could tell you that I was long off the 50 period moving average, that I covered the entire thing on that crazy wake up. I didn't. And so it ended up trailing me out on the way back at like some horrific price at the 200 period moving through the 200 period moving average. So I was like break even on the way out. It was insanity because it just did a crazy move up and then it immediately slammed it down so quickly on Viking. So I think if you're playing this stock, like you have to know when the results are going to happen, make sure you take profit because as quickly as, and it's not the first time it did it. Like it made a high in November in a similar circumstance. So to me, like this is the ultimate like sell the positive news on a trial result, not necessarily when you're talking about the earnings here. But it does look like, and give it the old 3-day rule, like they just reported, right? It's looking pretty solid. Just understand, as long as it holds that 50 to 200 period, great. But I'd always be looking for a place to exit it in the short term. I'm actually considering myself jumping back into this stock because I think if a deal gets announced while you're in it, great. You get a little bit of a bump that way. It's ridden this 50 period before and then done a bit of a ramp up. And ultimately, as I said, they don't necessarily have the capital that even if things go swimmingly for their oral to be able to roll it out in terms of manufacturing capacity. They just don't have the capital right now, so they'd have to raise, or they need some kind of a deal, which I think is possible because there's been a lot more deal making in this particular space. So yeah, I kind of like this. I give it a couple of days to make sure it holds on to this 30 area and the 50 and 200 period moving averages. I'd slap a buy. I might jump back into this myself, maybe Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, look, the only biopharma name basically that I have is Eli Lilly here. I mean, I also have ABBV, which I really love that stock as well, but this has been a great name. And I mean, any kind of dip buy opportunities in Eli Lilly, we talked about this yesterday. You know, what is the next in the pipeline? So that's really what I'm focusing on here with Eli Lilly. But if you like them all, then I was reviewing the account yesterday and I actually I'll talk about it, I put some buy orders on a few things, hopefully that hit in the next couple of days. But the XBI has really been motoring to the upside. So you can pick individual names and you know, hope that something happens, like I was saying, a new drug, a buyout, or whatever. Or you can just, you know, play some of these indexes. And I think XBI and the other one is XBI and what's the other biotech one? It's bigger than XBI. It's I something. For some reason I can't remember what it is. But there's many different things. IBB, duh. Thank you, who that was in the chat there, Star Glazer, sorry about that. But yeah, there's just another one that you can trade with here. So I mean, I like all of these plays. And honestly, I think that as AI kicks in, for many of these companies, it makes the production. I mean, you can see Moderna down again here today, but just how fast they were able to come up with, you know, the vaccine and how fast some of these models are going through the different stages and whatnot. I just think that it's a good win, you know, for this space as far as technology is concerned. So that's why I continue to like the XBI here. And we saw a big move, ISRG, Intuitive Surgical, the other day, really ripped off earnings, and that was up 20 or something % there, as well as robotics hits the space. Obviously, ISRG is not a new name. Then yesterday we had INTU, Intuitive. That was another one. That's Intuit. That's obviously has nothing to do with Biotech, but ISRG is a big one there. So I like that one up to 560. We'll see if this can hold as well. But yeah, I mean, Vertex, everything, Viking, everything here. I still like talking about the space. I was just thinking when I said that, I thought about Vertiv there too. I really like Vertiv, and that's a data center play. But there's so many different things that you can talk about here. We don't even really talk about Microsoft anymore, Meta, or anything anymore.
I feel like the single
I sold out of some Marvell.
That gets the least. It's weird. It's Microsoft. Meta, at least we'll discuss Meta sometimes, maybe a couple of times a week. We like this about Meta, but it's Microsoft. And if we're just sort of like spitballing here, that seems like it's the most forgotten stock in the Mag 7 right now. And part of it is when the stock isn't doing anything, like you just like, oh, well, what's happening with Microsoft? There's a lot of bad. Here, I just want to show the 15 minutes so you get the idea that you couldn't have bought $500 yesterday. You couldn't have bought $500 back on the 7th and 8th. Those are just bad wicks. So really, the stock has been riding the 50-period moving average in a very tight consolidation. But that also means accumulation. And the longer the accumulation, sometimes the more excitement when it breaks out. And this had Microsoft had a buy program from like this prior high at the end of last year, just buy program right until they reported on the 30th, and then it was almost like that great jump up is, then it just pulled back and everything stopped, and now it's accumulation again. Maybe we had another one of those tips rallies. I think it's the longer this happens on Microsoft, the more interested I am when it breaks this pattern of hugging the 50 period. Like once it starts multiple closes away, I think getting involved in softy again, just from a pure momentum standpoint, is going to make some sense. But anyways, we could talk all day long about chart patterns and Mag 7 names. Let's get back on up to this. It's almost 9 o'clock already.
And we will speak all day about all those things.
Well, we do. It's just, yeah. I mean, Microsoft has 0 catalysts today, so it probably won't get traded. But it is like, give me a break. It can't hold like this for 2 months or now 3 months without something fun happening. I hope it's to the upside, because it's the kind of thing where even if it breaks down under the 50, you probably just start shorting it to the 200-period moving average. But yeah, it can't hold this pattern forever.
Talk a little American Airlines here, up nicely actually to start the morning, 6%. I saw it a little bit of 7 a moment ago. So let's talk about this, because it was a mixed report. They had a smaller than expected Q3 loss, so they're still losing money. Adjusted loss of 17 pennies per share, but far better than the negative 28 pennies per share expected by the street on revenue of 13.69 billion, narrowly beating the 13.63%. Investors really here focused on the company's upbeat Q4 full year guidance, which they expect now to be about 45 to 75 pennies per share, well ahead of the 31 expected by the street. And here's what the company said. They're projecting their Q4 capacity to grow 3 to 5% year over year, which is, signaling confidence in continued travel demand. But they are seeing a shift in travel patterns. They're seeing fewer peaks, fewer summer peak season bookings, and they're saying the shift is encouraging them to adjust their flight schedules. The summer boom, as I mentioned, was a little bit less profitable, with a glut of domestic air supply keeping prices down. But the carrier does continue, Adair, to face margin pressure from rising fuel costs as well as labor expenses.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth noting here, keep an eye on these other airline earnings as well coming out. We had LUV, supposed to be this morning, actually came out last night. Tonight we get ALK. American Airlines also announcing a new Chief Commercial Officer, or CCO, by the name of Nathaniel Pieper. But yeah, this is a solid report, better than expected guidance for AAL. Certainly going to be one to watch, and again, see how this one and these other airlines react, because it's not the only day one earnings play in the airline space. I want to mention as well, Rivian, just seeing here, Wall Street Journal reporting that the company's laying off 600 employees, which is only roughly 4% of its workforce. Apparently, it's part of another round of cost cutting.
All right, guys, AAL up nicely here in the pre. You looking at it?
You know what? I don't like.
I'm gonna be honest. No,
I don't like owning airlines. I'm not a fan of them. I just think somehow they could be utilities in some way. It's an incredibly hard business. They constantly need help from the government and constantly in need of like bailouts or maybe like a merger here. So a failing airline merges with another. It's just there always needs to be something. Unfortunately, because it's a very, very difficult business. But it seems like it's AAL seems like it's in a bit of an upswing. And the last time it broke the 200 period moving average here in September, it was an abject fail. The difference is it's had some time to consolidate. Now you get a good report. I think there might be a trade if it closes here, and then you can get like maybe something into the 14. Maybe even breaking out into like 15, 16. I don't know if these have it in them. When there's still some concern about the consumer, when there's concern about global trade war and all that, and I don't know if it can do what it did last year. Like last year's rally was it was fantastic for AAL and for the airlines in general. It was a straight shot to the upside. I remember even having this trend line, like look at when the trend broke. I don't know if it has that in them, but certainly another opportunity for like a short-term trade, I think, is going to be there in AAL, like a swing or something to get 15% after earnings. I think that's more realistic on AAL. I just don't know if it has a 2024 move in any of them.
The only thing I always tell everybody when we talk about this, and it's a broken record, is the same thing always. This is the top 5 airlines. So UAL, Delta, Southwest, American, and something else. Did I say Delta? But yeah, the jets. So I don't know. It's not really moving too much, but it is well nicely off the bottom. The only problem that I have with all of this is right now oil is Rip City, as China also introduces sanctions right now on Russian oil. So what the CL? Isn't it? It's not January already. That wouldn't make sense. March, April, May. I don't know. I thought it was X. X is November, but that's not giving me anything right now. So I'm gonna have to get the next one. But if you go into OIH or anything like that, you're gonna see right now some oil starting to run upside a little bit now. So there it is, up another 3%. This doesn't have the volume. I'm gonna get the contract in a second. I just can't type in that /Z contract. Okay, so CL, thank you everybody. I need to do better at that and know my contract letters. But there it is right here for oil. So there, here it goes. There's the story right now. So we were already upside there on US sanctions into Russia, and China right now doing the exact same thing. So that's, President Trump is supposed to be speaking, with Chinese officials, and obviously some of that is now, being discussed. So there it goes. Nice move up there for oil. So I was just going to say for airlines, it's not doing anything right now, I mean, to these, this ETF. But, as oil prices go up, and I know they're hedged, but just something to consider there, as oil was at a nice little bottom there. Now it looks like it's getting back up. Yeah. So $55 was the low there for crude, and now up to 62 on that news. So there it goes. Nice move there. Halliburton up as well, we're hearing in our ear. We saw, yesterday we saw Valero as well as the refiners. I know, Sharif, we were talking about refiners the other day, and Canada not known for any. But Valero yesterday got a nice little push right at the end of the day when those announcements were made. So we'll wait to see if Valero can get going again. Nice little stock, just bouncing off the 50-period moving average. Energy, again, in play here today.
Guys, 67.36. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES December contract. Look, the overnight high is the same area we were actually looking for as support, 67.50. That's the overnight high. That's going to be our first level of resistance. If we clear it, if we start trending up, we're looking at 67.75 as resistance level 2. If we sell off the overnight low, 67.17, but we're going to be looking to that 100-point area as support, 6,700. All right, guys, make sure to get the watch list every day. Adara prepared prepares it and we all use it. No good morning routine is complete without a good watch list that helps you organize your day, lets you know what's running. And if you want a bit more of a nuanced view, make sure to hit the join button under the video for my morning note, available to subscribers only. Let's start with Tesla. TSLA reporting earnings after the bell yesterday. As we mentioned earlier on, Q3 revenue beating, but EPS missing about 50 cents. The street was looking for 54, really pressured by a 50% jump in R&D spending, as well as less regulatory credits, which the company's been using for the last decade to remain profitable. They did have a bit of a pull forward in terms of sales as a result of the expiration of the $7,500 EV tax credit on the 30th of September. They continue to have headwinds in Europe, but they did have a good schedule Adair for new products.
Yeah, they have a whole slate of things they're ready to get into production there. The CyberCab set for production here Q2 2026. We also have robo-taxis. They're looking to have driverless features there in Austin by the end of this year. Elon Musk did mention that they're going to be expanding to other cities, though maybe not as many cities as people had initially hoped. Talked a lot here as well about this AI5 chip. Apparently both TSMC and Samsung are going to be working on this one. He also did address here people, or several proxy advisory firms, opposing his $1 trillion pay package. So after this earnings report, the next big event for Tesla is going to be that shareholder meeting on November 6th, when this pay package will be voted on.
All right, guys, and another area of Tesla we've been talking about lately is the energy generation and storage business, growing and eye-watering 44% year over year on the quarter, now accounting for 1/4 of total revenue growth, driven by megapack sales, boys.
So before we get to that or talk about Tesla again, SMCI has provided a fiscal 2026 business update, and it's not being met favorably, down 7.5% right now. Yikes, yikes. Not looking good for them. I'm sure we'll get some details from Adair, but SMCI flying to the downside on the full year 2026 fiscal update. Yeah, not looking very good at all for them. That stock wasn't doing that well the last couple of days, but it's a bit of a flat bottom break through 50.
You never want to guide lower, whatever they just did there.
Yeah, just got to watch out for that 50. I'm just looking at that 50 level, because if we open underneath, holding underneath 50, that's a sizable flat bottom break that can hold down to 47 for sure there on SMCI. So you got to have this one on watch. And we'll get to, just to jump back over to Tesla. Look, I'm still feeling pretty bearish on Tesla. And we mentioned this before. I think all the stuff that I love about it for the long term, when we're talking about the robotaxi, we're talking about Optimus and automated driving. I think ultimately that's something that might not help it in the short term. So I like that as a fade to 430. But yeah, there you go. SMCI probably vaulting near the top of some list for volatility today after that business update. And it's a little bit long-winded, but they're reporting estimated revenue of $5 billion. And that is below the previous range of $6 to $7 billion. That is a huge revision. If you're expecting $6 to $7 billion, you come to $5. The midpoint was 6.5. That is a huge, huge change for SMCI. I cannot see any way. I'm not thinking short on this. I have to go even pay for some locates as well, because I don't know if we can short this one for free. It wasn't on the radar before, but I'm going to go pay for those locates now. Tesla, as I said, I'm looking short into the 430 level, but the SMCI now all of a sudden becomes in play for us.
I want to mention SILO Pharma coming out here with, it's not really moving aggressively, it's still down just 1/3%, but they're updating the lead on their PSTD drug candidate, SPC15, which is obviously a very noble cause, highlighting the safety and toxicology results. Silo Pharma, guys, SILO, not doing a whole lot, just coming on my news blotter at the moment. Let's take a look at quantum names, though. As we mentioned to start the top of the show, the U.S. government is eyeing a stake in quantum as a national security priority. So, as I mentioned, the Trump administration is in talks with several quantum computing companies to give the Commerce Department equity stakes in exchange, of course, for federal funding. Each firm could receive a minimum of $10 million in federal funding in return for partial government ownership. This reflects, the new era of economic doctrine, emphasizing national interest over free market purity. Treasury Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the U.S. must be careful not to overreach his words, clarifying that investments would be limited to strategic industries like AI, chips, and quantum. What do you make of this, Adara?
Yeah, I think it's certainly a pretty interesting look. So all four of the major quantum companies that we look at were mentioned in this report, though, as we just said, they're IONQ, D-Wave, or QBTS, and Rigetti seem to be the three that are in the closest talks here. With the government, it is worth noting, Trump is set to make an announcement at 3 p.m. I've seen a little bit of speculation this announcement could be related, but we'll have to wait and see with regards to that. Either way, be very careful with these names today, gapping to the upside, but there could be a little bit of volatility if there is a firm announcement made.
All right, boys, we're up double digits here in the pre. What are your levels?
Yeah, I like Rigetti. I mean, I'm looking at Rigetti in particular. You always have to pick. And I feel like if the story is about the entirety of the group, then I just choose to trade Rigetti. If there's specific news on one and not all, then that would be a bit of a different story. We'll look at it, trade either one. But I just like what could be forming. It's still the pre-market. We'll get that out of the way because you had what looks like a potential like liquidity grab day under 40, and then you get some positive news, and then the prior day support, which the bottom of this is like 39, so it's a 39 to 40 range that I like on Rigetti. You've seen it fall significantly, like 57 all the way down into the 30s, like yesterday's low. So it's done a hefty pullback. Like we said, you can joke about a lot of things that went into bear territory, but when they go up that fast, they go down just as fast. I'm looking at this, the prior highs and VWAP, and just looking for continuation longs. If we lose the support just underneath the volume weighted average price, I'm not fighting this. You know, ultimately, you know, this is just the whole play the momentum because it's a squeezable name and because we've seen these runs, because of the stake before, regardless of what you think about the government taking stakes in companies. You know, I tend to think it's a kind of a weird move, but that doesn't matter. It's given a bump to stocks before, so that's all I'm looking for.
Oh man, I don't think Beyond Meat's going to get me up to $4 again. Okay, so the name that I would choose is IonQ. I mean, you just bounced off the 50-period moving average, so we got down into there. Some of the other names aren't quite there yet, so I feel like this might have already been rinsed and now it's starting to go back up to the upside. This is up 10% right here today. This has a 17% short float, and they're reporting in 2 weeks. So you got 13 days from now, IonQ is going to give their report, and then we'll see, again, probably not great. If you're an investor, you might not want to see the report, but it's a momentum play, and we saw Intel once they got money from the government. We saw the metal names once they got money from the government. And if this is what's going to happen, there is that announcement at 3 p.m. today. Maybe there is something there. And I could see President Trump getting a little like ahead of his skis here and just saying like, hey, look, quantum computing is going to be a thing. The U.S. government needs to be invested here. And this name shoots up and rockets up. So, yeah, I think it's technically better than the rest because we have that out that we've already seen down here. And you might not feel good buying it up 9%, that's for sure, especially when the low yesterday was $53. And now today you may have to pay $63 on this break. But I think it's going to be something that you're going to want to do. We've just seen continued plays here. So if that announcement does come at 3 o'clock, what is that going to do, right? I mean, sure, we can all front run it, and maybe it goes down on that announcement. But at the end of the day, traders are looking to put money into stocks. And this has just fallen like $80 down to 60. Pretty clean move down. I think it can get back up. You know, I'm not really worried about this name until it's 71 or 72. So you got another 15% until you get back to there. So I like the name, I like IonQ, and I think this is a buy. And so let's look at $59, see if it can hold that pre-market base there. So a name that I'm going to look at in the quantum space today is IonQ, and they're all there too. I mean, like Neil said, there's Rigetti, there's QBTS, QUTM. There's a lot of different opportunities here, but I like IonQ up 9%, and I think it works. 17% short, reporting in 2 weeks, and we have that bottom of the 50-period moving average. So you guys let me know, but I like it. The crude is still going higher, and SMCI bouncing off a little bit. I think the low is 47, sorry, right there, bouncing right back to 50. So again, like giving a little bit of an update there, but making its way back up. So nice move there, gaining $3 from the bottom now is SMCI. Potentially a name that's getting hit with this might be Dell, but again, yeah, so there it goes. So Dell down. Dell's down more than SMCI. Like Dell's down $3. SMCI was only now down, and I know it's percentage-wise, obviously SMCI is going to win, but SMCI is only now down $2. So this is just like a sneeze here for SMCI. So good job, anybody that caught that bottom there. All right, oil hitting 62.60 right now and rising on China now getting involved here. They suspend their seaborne Russian oil purchase. So we're going to go find out more about that one, and we go to the desk with Darren Shreve.
Yeah, we're going to get to that one in a sec, Sean, but we just want to go over SMCI numbers over here. Here's the deal, guys. So they're reporting estimated revenue of $5 billion for the period ending on the 30th of September. That is well below the previous range. They were guiding $6 to $7 billion, with the company noting that some revenue is expected in Q1 of 26. So they're pushing that forward. They're also highlighting their recent design wins exceeding $12 billion, with deliveries requested in the second fiscal quarter of 2026. They're reiterating their full year outlook for $33 billion in 2026, citing strong customer demand. But in the short term, there are some headwinds.
Yeah, and I think that the issue is here, because of these design wins, which obviously that's going to be a good look, over $12 billion, that's really apparently why they had to basically have this guidance a little bit lower, because they're going to, hopefully, I would guess, have better earnings there for Q2, because these wins in the design space are actually shifting these orders over by a quarter. So that could be a bit of an optimistic look on that. We also have November 4th slated as the day for their earnings call. So we have earnings for SMCI in about 2 weeks now, guys.
All right, let's cover oil. It's moving aggressively here in the pre-market as President Donald Trump sanctioned Russia's top oil firms, Rosneft and Lukoil, marking a sharp U-turn after recently signaling, of course, plans with a peace summit with President Putin. We're, I think, up more than 5% here. The move targets over 5% of global oil output, which sent prices higher. Of course, that is Russia's contribution. Trump said he canceled a planned Budapest summit, claiming talks with Putin. We're getting to the place we have to get, his words. Analysts see this as Trump's most severe measure yet to pressure Moscow to make peace. And we know Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said sanctions aim to cripple Russia's war funding, with potential for further action needed. Here's the deal, though. U.S. allies are being urged to join the restrictions. We know Germany has basically held out for years now. We've seen former President Biden refuse to take this step, being taken now by President Trump.
And we're also hearing reports even that Chinese state oil majors are suspending their seaborne Russian oil purchases due to concerns about these Western sanctions. Now, I want to talk about a name outside of oil plays that you guys can look at here, and it's going to be Potash. We had NTR and MOS. They both moved yesterday when this was initially reported.
All right, guys, oil in focus. What's your move?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, the thing is, there might even be a second battle when it comes to stockpiling. China has significantly larger oil reserves. They've been stockpiling for the last few months in anticipation of this. Right, the U.S. is at 800. And I think they're at 1.3, so 50% larger reserves in China than in the U.S. So if we're finally on the right end of, and really oil has been, energy price, it's stunk, realistically. It's been in a downward trend, and it looks like it's breaking out that trend. So I think some of these might become more tradable. One of them that I'm looking at least in particular, because it's held to 50 in the 2, is XOM trying to break out here. But I think this is more of a let it settle for this day. You're right back into a resistance spot. So let it either settle down, buy dip, or wait for it to make more of a significant breakout. It's the 120 level that looks excitable for me here. But there's one thing I wanted to quickly show you guys that, and it's not that being an impromptu shout out to eSignal or anybody that looks at shorter time frame charts. Have a look. This is a 5-second chart of SMCI. And if you look at that bottom at 47, on a 5-second chart, this actually shows you, and this is why I've started pulling this kind of a chart up for IPOs at the open, where it's just going to be absolute chaos. And I think also after news, right when news hits, when things are going nuts, having a really short duration time frame chart, if you're looking for scalp trading, can be advantageous. I just happened to see this, and it's oh, you probably could have taken a little something off the 5-second chart, off that 47 level, that makes it a little bit more, you just get a little more conviction on price.
Yeah, I was just looking at SMCI too. I was going to talk about the bounce back up. So you can look at a name like Valero. Adara dropped some names as well, but that continues to go higher here. So I think, you know, these sanctions are going to be for real, and they're probably going to last a little while. I don't think Russia's backing away from Ukraine or anything like that. And if they do, then it's going to come back down, and hopefully you can get out of it when that winds up happening. But I still like Valero. They're bouncing beautifully off that 50-period moving average, and now you get some reason to like this. I think it's a 4 or 5% dividend. It's a name that I used to own. I like Valero, and I think it's definitely a buy. But CL, I mean, this is if you're looking to get some more. We talked about this already with crude, as it's really starting to get higher now, 62, 62.20. This is probably a good breakout again, like down into the 50s was low. We talked about that. I was actually talking about it the other day. I was like, wow, prices at the pump are pretty cheap. And now they're going to be a little bit more expensive as we continue to climb here right now to oil, but back up to the 200-period moving average. I think it breaks higher. I think you want to get long energy right now. It's there's not too many spaces right here that sectors that there's a lot of excitement around. Obviously, quantum's come down, nuclear's come down. So now let's go into another play that might, you know, help global recovery too. I mean, all these stock markets, most of them are tipping down just a little bit. Now, maybe oil helps China and helps some of these markets get back to the upside, including in Alibaba. Alibaba has its own news today, but I really like that name. It's too bad it almost got into my I was still bidding 152, hoping to get a magical fill there. That did not happen because it came down to 157 only right there. And then the other name was TCEHY. We're not talking Nikkei good. We're not talking about China. But Tencent got into 78, 79. I did not pull the trigger here, although 80 was my look for Tencent, and it's right into here right now. I was just thinking about it. If we're building America again and make America great again and all this kind of stuff, and all we ever talk about is American dominance, especially with the current president, that's what he wants to do. It makes sense to me. Maybe it's not right to get into China. So I'm gonna hold off on that theory now. If we can get Alibaba, maybe a little bit different, but Tencent is right here right now. I'm probably gonna look back in a month or two and say that was a good buy, but hey, even if it gets back up to the top, it's 10%. So I'll feel fine if I miss that. So let's just wait. I still like Baba and Tencent down here. I just a little iffy on the China talk right now. So Beyond Meat approaching $3 again. All right, IBM beats. So let's go find out why and how.
Yeah, they beat Katina, and they beat estimates, and they lifted their 2025 guidance, but the shares dropped anyway, and they're close to going SSR if they drop below 10% at the bell. So they reported adjusted EPS of $2.65, topping the estimates of $2.45 on revenue of $16.33 billion ahead of the $16.09 expected by the street. Revenue did drop though 9% year over year, or excuse me, revenue climbed 9% year over year, up from $15 billion, with net income hitting $1.75 billion. That's up from the $330 million loss that they had last year on the quarter. Should mention, though, that included a $2.7 billion one-off charge for pensions, which is a non-recurring item. Let's talk about their segment breakdown here, with software revenue rising 10% year over year, up to $7.25 billion. Consulting revenue 5.33, Adair slightly above the 5.25, and their infrastructure revenue jumping the most here, 17% year over year to $3.6 billion. Robust enterprise demand being credited for that. But we got to look at their AI business, $9.5 billion, up from $7.5 last year.
Yeah, the AI business growth is really impressive, especially with where the market investors are going right now. With the software revenue, despite that 10% year-over-year increase, it was in line with analyst estimates, and this follows the previous quarter where it actually missed analyst estimates despite growing year-over-year. So software revenue is certainly, I think, an area to be aware of here. For IBM, their transaction processing within their software segment also dropped by 1% year over year. Now, the guidance, pretty strong, only slightly higher than previous estimates, but still a good look. Analysts raising their price targets. It's a little hard to find a clear negative in this report because even, again, that software revenue being in line, still up 10% year over year.
All right, boys, 8.5 in the red. What's the move?
There's a saying that, like, it's like sometimes, you know, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes. But other times, the history just repeats itself. Like, if I read Sharif and check out Sharif's note every single morning by becoming a member, everybody, and you can get this note every single day. IBM tops Q3 estimates, lists 2025 guidance, but shares drop. Now, if you go back to the prior quarter on July 23rd, not only is that the exact same headline for those earnings, they beat top and bottom, they lifted their guidance, and the stock dropped anyways. Not only that, it was also at pretty much the exact same price. It was $282. Like, it was sort of like insane. Like 282 was like pretty much the spot where it was hanging around the last couple of days. That's exactly where it was on the last report. And it proceeded to drop for a couple of days in a row, small bounce, and then trended down. So I don't know, like just kind of expect the same thing to happen. Like let it drop for a couple of days, initial bounce. Kind of feels like either the 252 area or just the 200 period moving average. Look for maybe a little support there, and then the big support's down at the 240 level. So this is exactly what IBM did before. So is someone who owns IBM shares, I'm just going to be patiently waiting to catch a dip. Just not necessarily in the first couple of days. Maybe wait it out. I know 240 looks like a really good support level. So it's not always about, oh, look at this company beat. Why are they going down? It doesn't matter. The price action has told you this exact same story before, and if you were patient enough to maybe gobble it up when it found some support, then you got a quick little 20% move and a nice upward trend. I think it has the power to do the same thing. Again, I think we already talked about quantum, and these guys are another opportunity to play quantum in a safer way.
Yeah, I was just looking at IonQ, not doing much. Yeah, so we already talked about this sort of in the pre there about an hour, about 45 minutes ago or so. So we'll just refresh. Like I still think 250 has a magnet, so we'll wait to see if it gets into there. I mean, 257 at the 200 period. We want to buy good companies down there. So, you know, obviously it is an AI play and it's a quantum play and it's all that. But at the end of the day, I want to buy strong companies, the strong American name. Want to buy it near lows, and if we can do that, then I think it's worth it. But it's a day 3 play, right? I mean, it's right now it's day 1, so let this settle down. We did the same thing with Lululemon. We did the same thing with Marvell. We're able to get names super low and watch them pop. So maybe we could do that. I mean, Marvell went to $98, $95, $97, and we picked them up at 60 and change off their off their miss, right? So Marvell's coming back down. That was another good sell that we made a week ago today. We sold a lot of things a week ago today. And Marvell was one of those names as well. We got it in here, like 88, 89 bucks. I tweeted it all out. We can go back and look at that. But, you know, there's Marvell. Whoops, they missed, you know, and then we waited, was pretty much price agnostic. I didn't really care what price we wound up getting after the third day because I knew it was in a level that I liked. We had bought it, then whoops, right there back up to the upside. So, you know, names that go up can easily come back in, and Marvell's doing that as well. I'm not looking to pick up more of this, but this is also at an interesting spot if you're not in yet, as we're going to get some sort of a death cross happening right here. But $78, $77 for Marvell might be a decent pickup. I'm not selling any more of this. I've already sold it at the top there. If it comes back in, this is how you generate wealth and build up your portfolios. You sell things higher and buy them lower. It's that simple, you know. I mean, that's if you're trading, that's what you're doing. And this is in my long-term account. It's just when things get frothy, we get out. This shouldn't have gone from $60 to $95 like that in 2 weeks, but it did, and we took advantage a little bit of that. You never sell enough, but you got to sell something. And now we look to, like I said, I got some orders in to put some more money into work here. So if I can dump my Marvell 89s right there, take 10% off of that stock, put that into IBM. So I sell Marvell near the highs, buy IBM near the lows. For me, that works. I just got to make sure I figure that out, how to do that on day trading here. So, all right, 927 I thought that said BTC, but BYND. It's on the note one more time here today. Let's go find out what they think, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Yeah, there's really not much to say, Sean. I mean, there's really no fundamentals here. I'll give you a little bit of a history on the company. Once valued at $14 billion, it's had years of declines, down from the peak price, guys, of almost $240 a share. The company's core issue really does remain weak demand for expensive plant-based meat amid inflation, of course, and consumer health shifts. They've never actually posted an annual profit in their history, and sales have been declining year over year, essentially since 2022. Now, here's the important part for trading: the short interest and the change thereof. So have a look over here at the August 2025 short interest. Was about 37% of the float, accounting for about 27.3 million shares. That increased in September from 37 to 42%, accounting for 31.1 million. And then the eye-watering percentage right now, between 63 to 82% short, accounting for almost a 40 million shares board chart.
Yeah, so definitely pretty significant here. Now, a lot of these names, we even had this yesterday with Krispy Kreme or DNUT, they'll have a pre-market release of some kind of news. Beyond Meat here this morning around 9:05 a.m., or actually 9:15 a.m., announcing that their Beyond Burger and Beyond Beef are now available at Erewhon, which is a grocery chain. So interesting look there for BYND, but as Sharif mentioned, this is going to be all about the short float and the retail interest. Yesterday's move, certainly pretty parabolic. We know one person who is short this, according to his X account, is Pharma Bro Martin Shkreli.
All right, boys, what is the move? BYND. Katina, man, you said you had some levels.
You showed it?
Yeah, yesterday. So yesterday, this is the only, we went 4-1 yesterday. So it was a great day, obviously, and our only red stock was Beyond Meat. And we had tried that yesterday in here at 7, thinking that it was going to break higher. We were able to get out of it. Obi had the short, to his own admittance there, didn't hold it enough, obviously. But I'm looking at 4, Sharif. So I think if we can get back up into yesterday's sort of top area there in the afternoon, I'm going to be short. So short Beyond Meat around $4. Long IonQ on a breakthrough 62 is what I'm going to look at. I think that's probably the first name that triggers for me. And then we also have TQQs looking to get filled as well. Right now, I like the short here, but maybe not anymore. We're above the 200 period moving average. We might have to wait for 105, 106 as the futures starting to get back up. So, yeah. I don't know, only 20 seconds left.
QBTS is a 1.3 million buy-in balance. It's the only significant buy-in balance that I see up here. So just watch out for that. Quantum space going to be in play. I kind of like we'll talk about it at the open here, but we got the opening bell, second last one of the week, brought to you by Braided Pro by Globex. Check them out as we get this Thursday started. I'll give an earlier shot on Beyond Meat to about 360 to 365. That's the only thing I'm different. I like 4, but like 350 to 365, also a level. Tesla already?
Yeah, I got short already here.
No, Tesla broke 420. No, down,
Tesla.
not up. Yeah, down, sir.
There it is right there, man. We hit the runners right there. We have Intel, 3675. We just made a little bit of a trade there on INTC. I was like, what? That popped in already? So right there, back in. I just pushed bid, enter, got that fill. So we're short the TQs right here. I'm going to try to give this to basically 104.70s. I feel like that's a reasonable spot. We'll average in up here near 65 or, yeah, maybe near 60s. And then we'll see if it wants to go. We had a great, huge monster yesterday on that trade for the TQQs. So let's see if we could do it again. Looking at 37 for an out on Intel, IonQ just hovering around. So it's 2 positions for me, man. We've got the future short, which is a freaking monster yesterday. That was easily, well, Google was my number 1, but that was good. And then we'll see if Intel can go upside. If it does, it does, man. I mean, what are we supposed to do? There it goes. Nice downside play here for TQQ. So we're already in this. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely great. Look, actually, we didn't mention AMD. I like AMD to the short side today, continuation from yesterday, but it is going to be at the 232 to 233 area if it does try to get up there. Tesla, forget about the bounce higher to short 430. That just broke 420 and continues to cascade to the downside. The quantum names are also giving back pretty heavily, and as mentioned, Beyond Meat is not bouncing. Beyond Meat tried to get through $3 and now already heading to the downside. I want to be short this name. Oh boy. But if it's going to be the $3 level, that was the breakout price on Tuesday afternoon, I believe.
All right, so far so good here. The futures did make a move down. We did cover some at VWAP there. Pretty typical plays for me right now. Let's just wait. I mean, I told you we're going to wait for 104.80 to break. So just early days right now. We've got Intel short. We've got TQQs short. We've got Tesla on our mind. Let's have a quick look. There's 418. What I said 410 maybe might be a spot. So that's the sort of that breaking level there. TQ starting to head up. The market's trying to bounce here higher. So that's good. Now the Nasdaq's about to go green. There, and a quick check. We got to go to there in a second. Quick check on IonQ. So as Neil said, downside. I'm actually going to cancel now that 62 break. It just didn't happen. So IonQ downside, and there we go. Now we're loaded up on the TQQs. What's up, Adara?
Be aware here. I just have the market up here, but you can keep an eye maybe on Meta or Snapchat. I'm seeing a report here from The Information suggesting that TikTok is implementing leadership changes. Now, it's unclear if this is going to be the new U.S. entity or ByteDance own TikTok. If I get more details, I'll let you know. But either way, some TikTok news potentially on watch here, guys. See you.
All right.
TikTok news. That's been
a while.
I feel like it's literally been a while for that name. And we don't really care too much about TikTok lately, it seems. All right, here Tesla might be making a bit of a bottoming tail here. Let's see what happens at that 420 level. I don't make it up. 420 just seems to be some kind of a level for Tesla every single day. And if it can, I like liquidity grabs like this generally for long, but my thought is short Tesla today. So the first look is going to be if I can get a short off of this. The other thing I'm watching closely is the $3 level on Beyond Meat. So I'm just going to go over to BYND. I'm trying to pick something up right in front and then just give it to the local high because it has a bit of a topping tail candle through the pre-market high on Beyond Meat. Tons of volume on this stock, by the way. So all worth a watch. I think this is going to be worth multiple shots here today. It's already done 100 million. You're going to get, again, hundreds of millions in volume. There is a small cap penny stock I wanted to get to at some point today, but that'll be after the open. There's a reverse split happening, and that stock's going to do hundreds of millions. YYAI.
Yeah.
But I want that to settle.
They did it yesterday. No, they did 2 billion shares yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like so
you're right.
That stock is in play, but I'm kind of waiting for the opening range to set on it.
That's funny about that NBA probe. These guys faking injuries, Rozier, Billups, all that stuff. Crazy right now.
But are you surprised?
Yeah. I mean, these guys make millions and hundreds of millions of dollars.
I wouldn't do it, but I can't say that I'm surprised.
Okay, yeah, surprised. Yeah, I mean, we had Ohtani gambling, we had Pete Rose. I mean, it's in the history of sports.
Two guys on Cleveland, they're like
never
literally
stops.
I'm not
surprised. Nothing to trade on that news unless you want to maybe trade DraftKings or something and bet how long they're going to get in prison. Okay, yeah, Raptors put up 138 points yesterday. I think record forever for
it is a record. It was opening day.
Yeah, exactly. And Darko was going.
I actually think they're going to be better than we thought.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they have a decent
healthy
team. RJ looks pretty good there. Scotty Barnes. Then we got Brendan Ingram as well. So I should have worn my Raptors hat maybe. Okay, but we'll wear Blue Jays anyways, right? Neil, you're supposed to wear Blue Jays every week. What are you wearing Blue Jays today?
Yeah, I forgot this morning.
Okay, no problem.
At least I have the towel. Trust me, I'll be in Jay's gear tomorrow because we're going to the game.
Many wouldn't, but I do. No, just playing around. Of course we do. Okay, so right here, we are ready to go. We've got TQs, man. I mean, we are still short this name. Let's see, we've just covered a little bit. We're trying to do it again with this name, but yesterday we had a crazy short in the TQs, like right up here. And we covered it down into here for like $1.50, $2, and then it like tanked. Now, I don't think the market's necessarily set up to do anything like that today, but I didn't think that yesterday either. So we'll wait to see if it does make some moves lower. And my next bid on this thing, I don't actually even have one right now, but I think VWAP isn't horrible if we can get into the 20s there, or we get taken out, right? And here it comes in. So if we get blown out the top here, we'll give back what we made, and we'll turn ourselves slightly red on this name, but 104.80 is the top look for me right here on the market. Like, you can trade it, but don't hold it. Like, if news comes out or something happens, we can really rip upside right now. Just looking over our watch list here. Today, number-wise,
very quickly,
nothing.
Speaking of rip, anything that's a short flow as big as Beyond Meat can also do the same. I got the short underneath 3. I got 92s. I was trying to get 95s. I got 92s. Got filled in the low 80s, and then got a 77 print. Or sorry, a 76 print, and then immediately after it printed off the 3/4 level, we're right back up to 3. So I'm tightening the stop to 3. I don't want this going. If all it can do is go from 3 to the pre-market low, we have to remember I liked it a little bit better if we were playing off of a squeeze up and then a bit of a fade. So scalp trade so far on Beyond Meat, and we'll see if this one can hold that $3. But if it takes it out, I'm jumping out of the last bit of this trade and then looking for a place to re-enter. AMD is... It's starting to get up there. I think it's not there yet, but AMD just broke 230, heading to 231. I'm looking to short it off of this prior high. It's not yesterday's high, but it would be the 11 o'clock bounce. When the market bounced, it got up to about 233. That's where I'm waiting for the fade on AMD. Adara, news?
Yep. Keep an eye here on Boeing. BA getting a little bit of a pop, as you can see, a bit of volume coming in for BA as well. I'm seeing, according to an official publication, China's civil aviation regulator, or the leader of that regulator, has met with Airbus CEO in Beijing. So keep an eye here. Again, an official publication saying that China's civil aviation regulator leader has met here with Airbus CEO in Beijing. Now, Boeing actually moving higher on this. Either way, keep an eye on BA. Back to you.
Stock still hasn't broken 218. What the hell's wrong with
some of these stocks are still in the zone here.
It's just there's a lot of selling up here on Boeing. It's like it just keeps on getting into this without actually breaking. So I said I would get out of. I mean maybe that Boeing is almost like a breakout today, to be honest with you. But I said I would get out, move the stop, right to 3. That's why you do it, right? So like make sure you don't give it all back. I like Beyond Meat 350 to 360 as a previous resistance spot as well, like a first shot or a second shot here because I try it off the pre-market high, and then we'll give it a second shot if we get another 15% higher, and then the $4 level is going to look there as well. AMD doesn't seem to want to get there, and now that we've settled down a little bit, two things. Rigetti is trying to hold on to 39, so it's a bit of a wide range, but like, I just want to see if it holds this level here. Like it's a bit of a wipeout yesterday, and then hold this area, close above on a 15-minute basis, and then look for the long. And then it was YYAI. That's the stock. YYAI, and did tons of volume yesterday, and then announced I think it's a 1-to-50 reverse split. I'd have to double check, but they announced they're going to do a reverse split to regain compliance.
Yeah.
Probably 50 because they want to make sure they're good to go. But yeah, it's done 350 million shares worth of volume already. All I'm looking for is when I saw this yesterday, I'm like, well, if it respects the volume weighted average price in either direction, I just think it's playable as a trade based on volume alone. So I will have this one up on the side burner. Not usually the kind of thing that we would talk too much about on a normal day. Although we will always talk about something like Tesla, which is still trying to get back to 420. It's not there yet, but it's at 420 level that I'm eyeballing. If it rejects, I look short. Kind of hesitant to go long on Tesla today.
413.
But yeah, it's coming into that 420 level pretty quickly.
Okay, so, we thankfully got stopped out where we said we would on the TQQ, so we'll slap a fail on that initial try right there. We won't lose. Well, we'll lose. We'll lose about like a third or so or maybe a little bit more, 40% or so of what we wound up doing yesterday. But actually, that's on that take, but we actually made money there, so not that bad. I got to watch what I'm saying. And then right here, too, Intel. It was a short that we liked, and I'm in it again right now. I don't, Mobileye, well, that was kind of the story. They are reporting tonight. So I was just sort of thinking about Intel. It's like, it didn't go up because of anything good that they're doing, right? It went up because you had investments in the name, right? Trump wanted to get this thing boosted up there, made a deal there with NVIDIA. They also put some money into this. And I think that tonight when they show their earnings, you may think it deserves to be down here, but I don't know. Maybe Intel is doing something good, and I could be wrong. So if this breaks through 30, there we go. We just take another short right there, and that's it. We're now done. If this breaks $38, which it looks like it's trying to, 37, sorry, that looks like it's trying to do right now, then we'll go for 2 to start with, trying to short this market. And I mean, I said I was short bias today, and yeah, not paying off right now. We were also under 25,000, which I didn't even really discuss with everybody, but that was sort of where we started the short, up into VWAP, and then got out when VWAP wound up breaking. So that was an issue there, right? And so, all right, I'm gonna give Intel, I'm not really giving it that much room through $38. Like, I think my stop is actually at 37. It's actually at 37.01. So if we do break higher, I'm just going to stop out of this. I'm not going to try to get too cute with it. I'm not going to revenge trade this thing, get angry, and get back in if it breaks. If it breaks higher, we're wrong, and it goes. I don't know. We're not really looking at too much quantum here yet.
On that stock?
But locates on SMCI, yeah.
No, YYAI.
Oh, probably. I mean, it's just
a penny stock.
Little baby stock there.
It does a billion shares. There should be locates on it.
IonQ just got back up into VWAP again, like $60, and that was a decent short. So maybe we watch out for this and see if this wants to retrace just a little bit. The market is so hot though right now. Let's see what Google's doing. And this is despite Tesla, despite Google's doing really nothing right now. Just that's not a chart.
Tesla's bouncing pretty nicely.
Tesla, okay, so maybe that's helping with this market.
Outside of just paying for these silly locates.
Okay, so we can quickly look at Tesla.
I was going to mention SMCI. Remember, if you're just tuning in now, SMCI didn't report earnings. What they did is they gave an update on their guidance, and their revenue guidance came in at $5 billion when the expectation was $6 to $7 billion. So they guided significantly lower, obviously putting them in play. The level I was interested in was to let it settle down, because obviously it goes nuts on that report, and see what happens at the $50 level at the open. So far, I mean, so good, I guess, because it's holding the top end. But I'm looking for this one to the south side. We had to pay for the ability to short SMCI here at Real Trading, but it was very, very cheap. So that one's on the radar. I just got locates on YYAI. It's starting to respect VWAP to the downside. So on YYAI, I actually don't even know the name of the company.
I saw you, AWA.
Okay.
AirWA? Something like
AirWA.
that. Yeah, me and...
It's going to do a boatload of shit.
One guess where it's located.
China.
No, wrong. Delaware. I mean,
Oh, come on.
The only reason,
you set me up?
yes, I did.
That wouldn't...
Because yesterday, Obi and I were both like, this has to be Chinese, and then we looked it up, and it was Delaware.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Yeah, so gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Well
right
played,
now,
well
look at Tesla, man. Tesla just bounces completely off the 50-period moving average. So, like, that was a good look. So shout out to anybody that had a look there. As we had talked about that right there. So that's a nice little move to the downside right there for that. I wanted to actually look at SoFi. Up to 27.70 right now, so that's starting to go a little bit higher now as well. That's a good little look there, as not all stock are heading to the downside. Like the market just did. It's a nice look. Look at SoFi getting going one more time. Does that mean that Robinhood is also flying to the upside right now? The Nasdaq just went green. No, Robinhood's not. The Nasdaq just went green and the ES been green. So that's nice right now. Both up 0.2 as the market just takes out highs again right there. So we got into flat and actually got in the money a little bit there on, on Intel. But I didn't have a bid. So now I'm going to put a bid there. I'm bidding 73s. It just stopped at 75, which is, we're short at 78. I don't want to take 5 cents on this, but I'll take out 5% if it does make that move one more time, because the market right now, just a little tipsy-turvy. AMD, I like that short around 230. It's now through 231. So, I don't know. Right now, just
even
didn't have bias
is bouncing
long.
too. Like I didn't have bias long, so I'm not really long anything. And SMCI does not break down under 50, so there's going to be no trade there, at least for now on SMCI. I wonder if this is just, oh my goodness, what would this do to shorts if it actually squeezes through 53? Because a lot of people would have, I mean myself included, would have thought, like, how can this stock possibly go green after that guidance? So we'll see what happens there. I am in that YYAI, but it didn't quite get all the way to the volume weighted average price. So I have orders going into VWAP to then just give it to this prior wick high. Actually just realized it's just a slight adjustment. The annoying thing about penny stocks is, like it's the extra decimal places that you have to make sure you deal with here. So it's more like 12 1/3 to 12 1/2. That is the bottom side. But this market is incredibly strong. And AMD, Sean, like, thank you.
Thank you, Sharif, for that.
You can't say, if you say anything, Sharif, trust me, Sharif's got, like, you say AMD, he's like, AMD, China. No, AMD is starting to scream back into that resistance spot. This is the area that I was waiting for the fade. But it's not there yet, so I guess I have to be a little bit patient with it. And one name that we did not mention this morning that just broke back through 220, and I just saw, at least I heard somebody mention just now, Amazon. Amazon could, I want to stress the could try to fill in the rest of this gap if it can break to 223 today. I like Amazon long off of the 200-period moving average, which is way down here, but this is a stock that, if it gets through 223, it's got some juice to it. So I'm only in, oddly enough, this penny stock and looking for AMD to get to 233 to fade, looking for, I just typed open when I meant to go to Beyond Meat, looking for Beyond Meat to get to about 350 to 360 to try a fade, and then YYAI. And it's weird, I just accidentally looked at Open Door and it's actually having a strong.
Yeah, 350. Yeah, that's a good level there for Beyond Meat. Okay, yeah, Open Door. I mean, it's funny you were talking about that because I was just going to look at Open Door as well. I mean, Open Door right there, nice rip, man, up 5% right now and starting to go. I mean, Open Door was actually pretty good yesterday, considering that we did get a wash in Beyond Meat. We can look at Donut, Krispy Kreme again. Maybe that's doing something. We had a good trade on Donut yesterday at $4. But yeah, Open Door. I mean, we had kept talking about 7. Okay. Here we go. Let's go, Intel. We got our 73s there as well. So here comes Intel. We're obviously in the money on this one now, but we got to wait for just a couple seconds here to see how low it wants to go. I'm going to bid another. Okay, we get that? No, we did not get 75. I made the 75 level there. Oh no, that sucks. Okay, I just made 75, and look, I didn't put a big amount of shares there. I don't think I stopped the move, but that kind of sucked. Tried to cover some there down into the 75 area because I want to take advantage of that little dip down. The market's not necessarily going down here, so that's another look there. But I did want to look at DNUT until Intel started to go. Okay, so still $4. So that was a good little level there yesterday. I think this was the bottom yesterday because it did break 4 on DNUT. Okay, yeah, but it got to 388, and that's basically today's low, 375. So nice move there. We'll see. If you want to go short DNUT, I think it's a valid take if it does break this 375 area. Obviously, you're going to run into a little bit of problems there, but if the market wants to bring this thing down, it's not going to have a problem. Then you can use $4
what was the news on that
as your stop. Nothing. Yeah, just the
sympathy
name.
to Beyond Meat, maybe?
Yeah, the name of DNUT there, and it was 28 or 29% short float. But it's open door that's running there today, so that's really nice. IonQ up 5% is open door. IonQ not doing as much as I thought. We could check the other ones, QBTS as well for this. Nothing going on there. We did hear something about nano-nuclear earlier on today, but I'll just check in on SMR. SMR is a name that I'm thinking about buying again, but a little bit lower is where I would like it. Let's see maybe what happens on their earnings play. And then a quick check. We will do a market recap in a little bit, but JP Morgan right now in the banks still trying to hold a little bit higher. I want to check on these guys because we saw SoFi making a move higher as well there. Then I was just looking at Bitcoin, like IBIT, that's nice. Look, I bought 108, so we did it live on the show again. Sold some Oracle that day, sold some Marvell, sold some AMD, bought Bitcoin. At least Bitcoin's holding up a little bit. And it's nice, man, up 1.58%.
Yeah, I got it.
So good move for Bitcoin today. Tonight's earnings reports, I think, is Ford.
Intel and Ford.
Yeah, oops, that's Ford in Canada.
The two best companies in the...
Yeah, the two best companies.
I can't even finish
but Ford is okay, actually. Ford has been okay. There's been nothing wrong with that over the last little while, right? So Ford's been doing nice. Gets that GM bump. So the GM bump is what's helping Ford, and we'll see if they can get a bump for themselves later tonight.
Speaking about getting a bump, there's a bump in opportunity for sophisticated traders in Canada, and that's because Beta Pro by Globex Canada, the largest provider of leverage inverse and inverse leverage ETFs, has just launched 6 new triple leverage ETFs offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. In Better, they're offering a special fee rebate where they're dropping management fees to just 65 basis points till end of the year, December 31st, 2025. Plus, the U.S.-focused strategies use currency hedging, offering the potential for purer performance and exposure. So if you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. And while you're doing that, keep an eye on the screen. And remember to do what I'm about to tell you when you're typing in those symbols. And great job, everybody, of doing this today, because I don't think I've seen many people fail to use the dollar sign. If you are in the chat, then when you're typing a symbol that you want us to look at or that's fun to you or that's interesting to you, go dollar sign and then whatever that symbol is. So like maybe dollar sign SMCI, which I'm going to throw in there. And if you're not in the chat, jump in the chat right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's a subs only chat. Ask questions, join the discussion. Talk about the Open Army or Beyond Meat.
What do you feel about Apple?
Open up 5%, absolutely flying. So we'll check back in on that a little bit later. Oh, there goes Beyond Meat. It didn't
really?
quite. It didn't. No, not down. It didn't get up to this. That kind of resistance spot I was looking 50 to 66, but it's now back underneath the volume weighted average price. I might just try the 3 again if we don't get anything else. I am in that YYAI, but I did want to. I can't show you that Open Door is the big one that everyone's interested in the chat and not point out that Open Door might just be breaking this downtrend. $7 a key price. Like 7 has been a prior support level, and all it did is liquidity grab underneath and try to break it out. It's a good, I love the setup of liquidity grabs underneath specific price and then regain. So while everyone's looking at Beyond Meat, it might just be the Open Army that's deciding that they're going to get the big win here today. So I have scalped some of this. You know what? I'm not going to bother with the name of the company. I'll just YYAI. I was going to try and say the name of the company, but it doesn't really matter. It's going like 11 to 11.5 down to 10 with a low at 9. So I'm just going to try and get fills above 11 instead of at 11 because that's the volume weighted average price at 11.5 cents. I'm just looking to short underneath VWAP, kind of give it to the local high, and then try to sit in this one for the majority of the day, as long as it holds that pattern. But this market, Sean, it's looking pretty strong. Like I went back over to AMD because as the Nasdaq is breaking out overnight highs, potentially getting into where things sold off at the open yesterday, like that would be the price, call it 25.2 and change on the Nasdaq where, okay, start looking for the curl. And the stock that I wanted was advanced micro devices. So this is the one. It's pretty much effectively at that 233 now. I mean, not exactly, but it's effectively at the 233 now. So I'm looking for this trend break to jump in for the first time.
All right, one more move down. We're going to get another 76 here on, look, man, it's only 10 cents, but we've been shorting, and I want to be able to, there we go. Oh, we just missed a 76 there. We are bidding 76s, of course, but we're on ARCA, so let's see if it runs right through us. Maybe I should have been on something that actually pays, or I have to pay for. I would have got the fill down there, but that's okay. Intel's still trying to make moves lower, so we'll see. We only had 2 shorts written down on our system today, and it was the TQs, and that was a loss. So there, that goes to the downside, to the upside, sorry, as we were downside on that, and we got in and out of that one real quick, man. I thought we were doing it again on the TQs with the flush there, but then we got away from it, and I'm like really, the way I've sort of changed how I trade now is like, much less stress, and like we just make the calls, and if we're wrong we get out and we don't worry about it and we just move off of it, right? And so like Intel, we're still trying to harvest this trade, and again I take this serious with you guys. I mean, I see all the time some of you want these little bit, you know, trades that can actually last more than a couple seconds, but obviously Neil and I have our outs, and if they get triggered, like if this rips through 37 now, I'm stopping out. And then if it tanks the rest of the day, like that's the trader's dilemma, is you got to have your stops in there. You just got to pick them. I'm using a little bit wider stops because, again, the volatility in the market is obviously at the highest spot it's been in a long time. So VIX was up 17 or 18% yesterday.
I was going to say, speaking of.
Right away there. Sharif was yelling at Apple because I guess it wasn't doing anything. Right there, 258 and change. Yeah, like a lot of these mag names right now.
See, that's weird because with all the strength that we're seeing.
That's what I mean. So like, I mean, Apple's still up. It's fine. And I think Google was another name.
Bouncing nicely.
Yeah. Oh, Google actually wound up going up there. I didn't have a play on Google today, but this was my #1 P&L name yesterday. Was Google, but we'll have to look to see if it does anything here today. Just kind of bouncing around. I really love this top break right there, 257.50. Like we're not going to get to that today, but I really think this is a super strong name. I don't have to think that, I can see that. So I really like Google, like as opposed like Google's at the highs and Amazon right there. Now it's back to 220. Okay, so that was at 218 today. That would have been good. I was going to say like Google at the highs, Amazon nowhere near it. So I did want to pick up some Amazon if we got even lower than where we are right now. But okay, so here goes Intel. So the market's going higher. So some of those covers were good. And I just said like, hey, if it rips up here and we get stopped out, we get stopped out. But we're doing a good job of sort of getting in and out of this name. So it'll be a hit, but it will be a small one at this point for Intel. So let's just see, not really gonna average into it. If it does go up, we've already averaged in a couple times. I mean, I could put on a little bit of a position right here at 96. Oh, well, there it goes, it just ripped through me. So we'll put on another little small spot. Why? Because it's a 5-cent stop. If this breaks 38, we're out. So 5-cent stop, even if you have 1,000, even if I just put 1,000 shares on there, it's be $50. Like this is a completely fine risk to reward, but it's going to rip through it.
Oh, this market's not fair.
The market is just rip city.
Like, so last time IBM gave you a great buying opportunity, like you just waited for weeks after earnings. Not today. Today they're like, nah, just whatever. They'll just start buying it up at the open. It was so different at the same price. Like it fell down like $50, man. And then you were able to get like 240s on a dip, or if you were early, like 250s, it didn't matter. IBM, it's not going green, but it's certainly filled in a good portion of the gap back into support. So remember, they beat top and bottom and raised their guidance. It was a good report from IBM. It's just, you know, they went to the downside because sometimes that's what stocks do when they're priced well and maybe they're not considered the most exciting names out there. Tesla didn't have a perfect report. They did miss, they beat on revenue and then missed on EPS. But it is trending back to the upside. What it hasn't done, like a lot of other things, is break out the top just yet. So I'm still waiting for 230. That was going to be the go zone. But I'd be inclined, if we fail to 425, to also look for a trend break there. At this point, without having, because I didn't have like long ideas that I was a fan of, I guess have to wait for like a trend break down on something like a Tesla that I was thinking short, or on an AMD that I was thinking short. I've got to hit save on this line. Because right now the trend is just straight to the upside. So it's requiring patience as we go back into resistance. Like it's just allow it to go. I'm not going to chase so long. I got to wait for my shot to try the short. And the other name that came in late was that updated guidance on SMCI. So SMCI ends up holding the 50 level, but just like the other two names I mentioned, Tesla and AMD, I just want to see it break trend. This can actually break trend, okay, right about here. We had free locates on SMCI, by the way. So when people, a lot of times they're like, well, how do you go short on that stock? It's possible your broker might be charging you or not available to short SMCI. Here at Real Trading, if it's not free to short, which is 99 point whatever % of all stocks in the US market, then sometimes we can pay a very small amount. Probably, I think this was like less than 1 cent per share.
Yeah, no, they're not.
I didn't even, it was small enough that I didn't bother to check.
Oracle is really starting to go here. So Oracle, I mean, 270 bottom up to 278. So that got going with the market here a little bit as well. So probably, you know, hitting, come on, throat. Probably hitting some resistance up there in and around that 280 marker. So we'll see what happens here with Oracle. Nice move up, man. I mean, you can't, honestly, like it's easy to get more short into Oracle, but I don't want to do that. No, I was saying you could get short.
Sell more.
No, I'm not talking, I'm long term, I'm long, but I just mean like right into here. I just wonder if this 280, that's what I was going to say. It's like it's at a key level. We're not quite there yet, but I was going to say if you're going to get short Oracle, you got to watch out for that 280 level. I
thought you were talking long term.
Yeah. No. I sold. I was lucky enough to get out of Oracle.
I know. That's yeah.
Yeah, and so lucky to get out of it. But maybe it's time to buy this back. That's kind of what I've been saying. Like if we're able to get back into Oracle and into SMR and into Marvell and all that for cheaper prices, fine. But I did want to look at that IBM, and that's obviously not hitting there either. So. Okay, there goes Intel, 37. I don't know why my 01 didn't trigger there. It should have. All right, 3706 then. That's weird. Okay, so we just busted up higher there through $37. We have shares on board here, and it's basically near a spot where we got to tap this thing out. So another breakthrough 37. We're at 37.05 right there for Intel. It's a very strong stock, and there it goes now today, upside. There was really no pullback. We tried this short again right there. So we had short TQQs. There it goes, which was not right, and there goes short Intel, not right either. So okay, 0 for 2 there today, as we said. Yesterday was a good day. Today we're giving a little bit of that back with our first 2 trades. So let's continue on the look for better opportunities. We got one there on Beyond Meat, but it just didn't. It already broke through those levels, and I wrote down $4, so I thought maybe it was trying to get going there. I still like to short Intel, but again, on earnings, maybe it's a little bit of a problem. We got to go to Adair in a minute, but we saw Tesla
after the bell
make that move there into yesterday's close, and then whoosh to the downside. So sometimes stocks will trade a little differently there. We do have existing home sales. I didn't even see that on our board, but let's go over to Adair and talk about those numbers.
Yeah, I wasn't, I wasn't seeing this one either, but existing home sales does look like it's out. I'm just waiting for this number to populate. 4.06 million, exactly in line here with estimates of 4.06 million. So exactly in line here for existing home sales. One of the biggest stories on watch today for this market, we had quite a few, of course. We'll get into earnings in a second, but oil sanctions here coming from the U.S. Treasury against Russia, so that's leading to some moves in some of these oil names, as well as potash-related names like MOS and NTR. Let's talk here about TSLA, one of the biggest earnings names tonight, IBM, or last night, sorry, IBM, another day one earnings name on watch that reported yesterday after the close. Tesla did miss on EPS, but strong sales, and with Tesla, as always, the call was really in focus. Lots of production and updates in general here scheduled for or by Elon Musk. They're expecting CyberCab production by Q2 26. Airlines here also reported earnings, among them American Airlines with a double beat and stronger than expected guidance. Last but not least, all of these names in this quantum space are pretty strong here. Wall Street Journal reporting that the Trump administration is in talks to take equity stakes in some of these quantum computing firms, including Rigetti, D-Wave, so QBTS and IONQ. Before we send you back to the guys, we'll take a moment to thank our friends at Silo. At the intersection of science and crypto innovation, Silo Pharma, trading on the Nasdaq as SILO, is rewriting the playbook. Their lead drug, SPC15, is advancing towards FDA submission, a potential first-in-class intranasal treatment for PTSD and anxiety, with data already showing strong safety results. At the same time, Silo is expanding its digital assets model, investing in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, while securing cutting-edge technology designed to strengthen and future-proof its crypto strategy. From lab to ledger, Silo Pharma is where breakthrough science meets blockchain innovation. Learn more at silopharma.com. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. And see, not just a fantastic show. Silo is also a company you can take a look at on the Nasdaq. So SMCI, all right, there's my non-saved trend line, which is now saved.
Oh, yeah, SMCI.
Actually, I don't even need it anymore because whatever, it broke the trend. I actually, what was weird is I should have been shorted on this candle, like right in here when it closed, but oddly enough, I thought I had paid for locates, I didn't. And then it took me 2 seconds to go get them again. I want this to hold under VWAP. There's a potential to add to this underneath $50 if it holds under VWAP on that guidance miss, but I just took the trend break short. I actually didn't get, I didn't get everything trying to short under 51. I'm just gonna cancel that order now. We took some out at the volume weighted average price. I'm not looking to cover at 50. I'm looking for another place to add to this position, whether it's back in front of the 51 on a bounce or underneath 50 as we fade back on in. That YYAI, this thing, so it's like 500 million shares. Announced the reverse split, still trying to get more shares under VWAP and then play it down to the low. If it breaks the bottom, it was at on Tuesday, about 8 cents at the close. So I think that would be the target for me if it gets down to that 8 cent level. So watching that one pretty closely. And then this market rally, still unabated. Like look at the first 2 candles on the Nasdaq, same thing on the ES. Like it's just being bought right back up. You saw Tesla bounce, saw IBM bounce that were down on earnings, and then now we're trending back into the overnight, yesterday's overnight support level in here to 25.2. That's the spot to me to look for some kind of a pullback. Like if I was long, that's where I would be trimming, but I'm not long anything, so I'm looking for the short entry. That trend on AMD that I'm looking to go short on, it's starting, it just triple topped here on a 3-minute, so if it breaks trend, I jump into it, and as always, I just give it to the prior bar high, but it's still trending higher. And as long as that's the case, do not want to fight this. SMCI working, that YYAI probably doesn't care what's going on in the market, and still waiting on AMD to give me a sign. The stock is nuts.
I'm trying to wait for some signs too here, man. I mean, I'm just still in the same name again. I'm back into Intel again here. Sorry, off that wicked top. I mean, it's just, we got stopped out there, and I have a water here. I don't know why I'm not.
A wicked frog. I don't know why they call it a frog in the throat.
Because of the ribbit sound, I think. It's like a,
is that like a ribbit?
Well, have you ever hear like a bullfrog? Like,
it
probably has nothing to do with that. It probably has to do something with frog. I don't know. People, did you see this? Wasn't there a robbery at the Louvre?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
Did you guys talk about that?
No, I didn't even see any highlights. I saw someone tweet something. There's now like a video of these guys. What was it? What's the story there?
Oh, I just know they jacked some jewels worth hundreds of billions or something. Or millions, sorry, but hundreds of, like 100 million or some nonsense. Like there's gonna be a really good movie. Like for sure there'll be a really good movie.
How'd that even happen?
Yeah, Jack the Louvre.
I don't know. You'd think that would be a little harder than that, but it's obviously an inside
job. That's some Ocean's 11 type stuff.
Yeah, it has to be some inside.
You know what I mean? Like, wow.
Napoleon's jewels. Okay,
is that what it was?
Someone in the chat said that. All right, okay, Intel, look, we just got a nice move, man. We just got 9, like it just went back into here into 91, 92. So I do have another bid now at 95. Maybe we can get that fill if it does come back in here. But if the market does give it up, maybe this is time to go short. Now we have our areas there. Yesterday we absolutely cranked lower, around this time is when we were building our short yesterday on the TQs. We actually had it early. We actually had it a couple times yesterday on the TQs, but this is sort of like, what time is this, 10:30? Well, it's a little bit, but this is right here, 9:57, 10 o'clock, where we sort of started to make those pops, and then the drop came in. So like, I could see, getting short there, holding it, maybe getting stopped out, and then looking for that back end. So, that's what happened to the futures there. I'm hoping that something happens like that with Intel, but I don't know. Disney. Oh, let's check out day 2 play Netflix. There, I'm a buyer at 1,000, just because of the number there. Nice move down for Netflix, man. Yesterday we called that 115. Like we called this $1,015 at 8:30. And it came right back in. The low was 1,013 or 1,012, 1,112 yesterday for Netflix. And now we're taking that down and now starting to get lower here. Netflix, a little bit of a quadunk move to the downside there. I would think the long is coming soon on this stock. I mean, they did have some tax worries there in Brazil, and that's what their epic loss was based on. They're expecting like they almost lost $1 per share more than they thought. Like they were looking for 650 or something, and they got 550.
It was all tax-based, though.
Yeah, so right into there, man. 111.07 or so is a good level. We already made that back in May.
Yes,
maybe there's something there. Okay, finally we're getting a crank now to the downside. So here comes IBM. Probably IBM. Here comes Intel. We just got our 95 there. We did not get 90s, so we still got 95. So a good little take there from that high. Let's see if Intel continues to work for us.
Oh no, I lost. Shoot, where'd that page? That page where I can show what's in the chat and put up comments. In front. I've lost that page. I got to find it where it's bookmarked. So I'm just going to do it this way.
Oh, we got a super chat.
I wanted to, but I'll do it this way. And just go to the chat here. We had a super chat here from Trader Gibby. Worked 46 days in a row, 3 for. Awesome.
Yeah, man.
First of all, shout out to working hard. 3 for 3 on Boeing, Nike, and DraftKings. Taking my daughter to SeaWorld today. Thank you for everything. Hope you have a good day. Best show, hands down. Sean is a sniper with entries, exits. So thank you so much to Trader Gibby. We also had a couple of comments I wanted to. There we go. Beyond is breaking VWAP. And Go Bills, I promise we'll talk about, I won't say Go EV, GE Vernova a little bit later, because I do have some thoughts on that one. I was looking back and I did not, I'm think bidding the stock and was kind of mad that I didn't get filled yesterday because I was just a little bit too low and it was a bit of a miss. And if I'd been following the market, I was at an appointment and then I saw after the fact, I'm like, oh man, I just missed the dip buy on it. Anyways, we'll get to it in a bit. AMD did break that trend line. Someone asked me in the chat, what time frame am I looking at for the trend break? I use a 3-minute chart. My intraday chart's a 3-minute, and then I have a 15-minute up, and I look at a daily chart. Sometimes when we're talking about higher time frame stuff, I'll look at like a weekly or a monthly, but 3, 15, and then daily. So there's the trend break. It went down to the prior support at 33.25, took a fill there, looking for about 232 in here as I'll zoom this out a little bit further. Probably might even wait for the volume weighted average price. So AMD starting to reverse finally. SMCI continues its move to the downside. So that also broke trend, broke the 50 level, no consolidation under VWAP. This bottomed pretty nicely at 47, but if the bulk of these, like the bulk of that support was closer to like 48.25, like in here. Like if you have wicks down there, but there was a lot more support above 48 and then just bottoming tails. So I'd look at 48 as more of a target here on SMCI.
What up, Randy? How's your day going? Yeah, you can say less. Yeah, here's Tesla.
Always coffee time.
Here's Tesla right now. It's up to you. Yeah, I mean, I could take one, but yeah, Tesla right now. I was going to talk about Tesla and Randy left, but that's okay. Flat right here on the open. They did a flush. Now the buyers are trying to come back in, but the implied move yesterday, Randy, was 7% or 5 to 7%. So we only got half of that. So you know they don't mind it. I actually don't have anything written down for Tesla today. I mean, this has been the daily chart. So right now we're very consolidating, right? So it's just bouncing around right now. You know, a good friend of ours who potentially, you know, we were just Ford, you know, we were talking about this. This is down right now, down another 1%. And some of our friends like Ford and some don't, but there goes Ford right now. Randy, they report tonight. So
at some point, Ford will be a free stock.
Will be a which? Free? Yeah. Oh, okay. Randy's saying Ford will be free soon. So I don't know exactly what that means. That means other than it going to zero. I guess. I don't think. I mean, I was talking about it, man. I really like their Mustang E there, the Mach E. I like the cars right now. I like
Randy calling Ford bankruptcy effectively.
I like the yeah. I don't know. I like the Bronco. I don't know. Look, I did look at my account. I do own Ford. So yeah, almost stopped out, coffee trader there with your trade on Tesla. What did you get there? After watching go down and not taking profits, I'm still fighting with the demons of greed. Yeah, so I think that's part of it, and that's what's kind of changed for me a little bit is that I just kind of wait for the stocks to do what I think they're supposed to do, and if they don't, I get stopped out, and if they do, then we got the bangers, right? I mean, that's why I wanted to thank that super chat, because I think that's, you know, first of all, the most important thing about that super chat is the fact that you're taking your daughter to SeaWorld. I mean, I think that's a great thing to do today. My daughter, unfortunately, I was taking today off, but she hurt her knee a little bit in hockey and chose not to do cross country.
Well, that's smart.
So it's just, she didn't really like cross country. She actually hates cross country and running. So
well, the thing is, if you've got any issues with like knee ankle, cross-country running, because it's like the uneven ground. If you do other sports, like
you go up and down hills and stuff like that.
Coaches won't want you doing that.
Yeah. So whatever. She didn't really. So I came in today. Otherwise, it was going to be Obi here. So sorry about that, everybody. You get me instead of the Obi. Yeah. So another move that we had down today was Oscar, because we had that Molina Healthcare today that was down, and they were bad. So I feel like I got to figure out what exactly Molina Health is. I assume that they're similar to Oscar. So nice move downside there for Oscar. Maybe at a buying spot again. Another name that we did trim a little bit, but not nearly enough. I really like Oscar. We had Michael on Monday, and he was like, "Oh, Oscar Health looks like it's breaking out." I don't know if that was the kiss of death there or not, but since Michael's been on, we've had quite a nice move down there, but the market's also reacted. So this is another name that does have a high short float. So I'm not going to be woe is me on this one. You know what you're getting into when you get into these names. So
or you could just follow the crowd to all-time highs.
Yeah, we like CrowdStrike. Well, that's a good one. CrowdStrike, I mean, we had that huge dip in July of 2024, Adara? CrowdStrike dip?
Friday, July 19th, 2024.
See?
All right, finally. I listened to Adara a lot, so that was one that I remember. That's what I remembered. Molina's a Medicaid provider.
Oh, is that what they are?
I believe I was wearing red, though. I can't promise I was wearing red. I know it was Obi's birthday. He came in, he was wearing like a ponytail, and that shirt that you guys have matching.
Obi had a ponytail?
Sharif and I, Oreo birthday cake.
It was a man bun.
I think it's called. It is called like more of a man bun.
It's called man bun. No, but Obi, it was a ponytail. See, this is what I'm saying.
Well, like an actual Obi had a full ponytail.
Okay.
Okay.
Shout out to Obi with a ponytail. I don't know. I have to ask him.
I don't know. Did you show Molina's chart?
No, I didn't. But I was talking about it with respect to maybe UNH. Oh, it's down 20%.
No, I was going to, because Molina on that report is right down into its low. Like its 52-week low is down here at 151, which is trying to bounce off of. And then if you're like myself and you're in UNH, then I want to see how bad it gets off of sympathy. And it's not too bad. Like UNH is down 0.78%, like less than 1% to the downside and bouncing. So for myself, it's always good to know, like if this has been breaking down, and maybe I consider, okay, if Molina completely falls apart, then maybe this is something that I wanted to trim. Who knows? But either way, it's not doing too bad off of that sympathy play. So I like to see that. Unfortunately for Molina Health, it is at 52-week lows, but maybe it provides buying opportunity. I just like UNH better. So AMD got to 33 and then bounced to 34. I opted not to reload, mostly because the market is looking strong and holding, when I say the market, the Nasdaq, holding the overnight high. So it did top out a little bit, but for now you're holding the overnight highs. So it could end up in like a bull flag and breakout higher, in which case, you could take what you can in the shorts. I'm actually looking to get out of AMD. I think SMCI is probably going to be a better short. And if this bounces, I can look to the volume weighted average price. But I now have a trailing stop on SMCI. I'm going to sneeze again. On SMCI back through 49.5. I'm looking for 48, but trailing it out at 49.5 and looking for another reentry point into this name, as it wasn't on the plan of action to trade SMCI, but didn't again, you don't know that they're going right in the middle of the pre-market as we came onto air, that they were going to drop an updated guide and that it would be disappointing. So AMD just hit target, which is not VWAP anymore. No, but I moved it up. Like I moved it from I wanted to grab $2 to
target acquired.
And I think SMCI is just going to be a better short. And then I still have this YYAI thing, which every time I'm like, oh, I'll just move it down the offer in front of VWAP, it doesn't bounce to get me filled at the volume weighted average price. So it's hugging the lows. These guys did tons of volume yesterday. I don't remember if there was a catalyst, but this morning they announced a reverse split. So did what it usually does when they announce a reverse split. If you got it early, great. I'm just shorting it under VWAP and seeing if we can stay in it all day.
708. Okay, yeah, good look there. I'm still just waiting for Intel to do something. I was looking at IonQ. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot either right now. So this name not doing much. I mean, if we check out the trade rate right now, it's a lot of the names that we've been talking about. Neil just talked about AMD right there, Beyond Meat, again with a nice move today, up and down. Like, you know, there's that huge move. Not huge. Well, I guess pretty huge actually. Opens in and around 280 or so, makes that move to 350, comes back in now looking like it wants to get a little lower. You're now underneath VWAP, underneath the 200 period moving average. This is a short. I wrote it down at $4 based on where we were yesterday, but not much going on there. SMCI really did have a nice go of it. They tried to get back up into that 52 area, and they did right there off open again. They came out with a story there about their forward guide. So a nice downside play there, made it all the way back. And then despite, it's too bad that I'm short Intel right now because I really should be short the market. We talked about that up here. So that should be about 30 or 40 handles in the money now, and I'm not there. So I'm a little bit upset about that. But there comes SMCI also stair-stepping. This looks like stairs almost exactly. Stairs to the downside right there, little platform, and then stairs. So if you're going to go short, look for that platform around $50. That's where VWAP is. So SMCI continuously moving lower right now. Damn it, Intel, you need to get lower, man, or I'm not going to do anything here today. All right, VTYX, I don't even know what that is. That's up 83%. They just made 52-week high. VTYX. So this is, again, brought to you by eSignal, right? We were out with these guys there on Monday or Tuesday. What day is it today? Tuesday. And yeah, they were talking all about, you know, Reddit and going through some of the scans and whatnot and making sure you find the hot names. So here's VTYX. Another name today that's hitting on the scanners. 67 million shares, so relative volume obviously through the roof. Nice move up there, but that's 850 now for that high as we go. Okay, finally maybe now Intel's trying to get lower. Oh, that's the 50-period moving average. Okay, I need to take something out right now. We'll put a bid right there, see if we get it. Yes, we did get it there again. So I'm not sitting on ARCA or NAT. This is maybe a little bit higher level than what most of you are talking about, unless you're on a prop floor, but I'm using like BYX, or Edge A is now a paid one actually, so I'd actually change my Edge A key. Something, or a dark pool or something like that, that gets filled first before the lit market. So I can talk more about that as we go, but for
that 24X.
You know, for rate, oh no.
You seen that?
Yeah, I saw some X thing. What is that?
It's a 24 exchange.
That's going open 24 hours?
That was the one I saw on Beyond Meat the other day.
Obi said he saw something with an X or something on it yesterday. I think it was Beyond Meat. Oh, maybe it was
on
you.
Beyond Meat.
Maybe
It was showing up a bunch with big orders anyways.
Yeah. Obi or yourself pointed that out. So yeah, good look there. I'm just mad that, I know we're going to Adara, but these TQs, man, we had literally, when it was up here, remember I was like the time? I was like, wow, it's 10 o'clock. Yesterday's move didn't really happen until 10:30. Yeah, this move happened, and it was fabulous to the short side. So hopefully some of you have that. I, unfortunately, do not. But you're coming into VWAP right now with the market, so that could be also a play. Did Randy wind up bringing us a coffee?
Nope.
Or?
Well, we got
no.
We did get one earlier.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to message him. Maybe he's a little bit busy over there.
We could be breaking this.
Good. I mean, I hope the market breaks lower just for my position.
Well, we're at VWAP is all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're going to go to there in a quick little segment. The market's at the volume-weighted average price. If it bounces, just like look to enter short when it was at the top. If we end up bouncing, I just tighten up my trail again on this little trend here. So I think it's about 49.15. If SMCI breaks 49.15, I just realized that I did not have it correct, so I'm just going to correct it now. Then I'm going to jump out. If we break this prior bar, jumping out of SMCI, if the market continues to flush down, I think I'm also looking at Tesla as well, as Tesla's finally breaking trend. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Time for our small cap recap, starting with the name that was on our watch list and that Sean just brought up here today, Vertex Biosciences, VTYX. Short float here of roughly 7.5%, announcing positive phase 2 data for one of its treatments in patients with obesity and cardiovascular risk factors. Next up here, SCNX Scienture Holdings. We've got a roughly $23 million market cap here. Doing, I guess, a Benzinga feature saying that they're starting the commercial sales and fulfillment for their first orders of this ARBLI treatment. And last but not least, REEB, American Rebel Holdings is certainly one Sharif's traded on the show before. No catalyst for today, but this one's been continued on watch. On Monday, they announced breakout success apparently at a convention with their expanded national distribution footprint footprint for American Rebel Light, which they're calling a patriotic and fast-growing beer. Before we send you back to Neil and Sean for more trading action, let's take a moment to thank our friends at Trade the Pool. For too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing. That's what kept so many traders on the sidelines, but that's changing because Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the market. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth. When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fear, no barriers, just real opportunity. This is the revolution of limited risk trading, powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. Back to you.
Thank you very much there, Dara. And I would imagine anybody that recently tried an evaluation there and went long on Beyond Meat a couple of days ago, you'd probably be doing okay. Today at the open, you certainly could have done the same thing when it broke through $3. That's when I exited, but I'm looking to jump back into this thing. So it's like early on underneath $3 was, you know, it worked, but obviously the long off 3 would have given you a little bit more juice. Well, we're back under 3, back under VWAP. So I'm going to go back to looking for the short side or the back end of the trade here, down 19%. No particular catalyst. It just seemed to unwind yesterday, and looking for some continuation there. So I know it's a blip in terms of the volatility from yesterday, but I feel as if the next couple of days, the volatility will be much lower on Beyond Meat. I don't think you see $3 or $4 moves anymore. I think even like $1 worth of range is going to be pretty reasonable in here. So you're going to start trading in that fashion, which means going back to things like shorting under VWAP. So next little pop, I'm going to try to short that 3 level and see if we can get into this for a second time.
All right.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, Intel's super strong, so I got to get off of that short. So I've been covering it. We only have about 30% left. So I just want to say, like, I'm not going to go back into that short. The market is too strong right now for me to have that kind of an opinion. What the heck is SCNX? Did we even look at that? Yeah, today up 1.2%. So this is how you vote. We've sort of done this already earlier, but I don't think we've looked at it too much. IonQ, TTD, okay, the trade desk. All right, we can have a look at that. That's a good one. I like that name. SMCI, there's Beyond Meat. I'm just trying to find names that maybe we haven't really touched on yet. DEFT, I don't know what that is. Webull as well, $11. ARAB, American Rebel, sorry, AREB there. And then, yeah, SCNX, that's an interesting name to come through here. Palantir Holdings right now with a range of 82 to 150 today. 300 million shares right now for SCNX. So we can have a quick little look there. I did average into just a top tick there on Intel. There it is. So we'll have a quick look to see. All right, well, Intel just ticked me up.
Oh, my goodness.
Get out right here at 02 if I can.
What
is this one? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't know what it is anymore than you do. The reason I'm slapping the fail is look at what happened at $1. Oh, you got to
the break of $1.
Like exactly, like almost exactly $1. Multiple times was resistance in the pre-market, and then once the stock opened up at 9:30, you then get about 10 o'clock. It breaks $1 for the first time. And then when it holds it for good, it holds the volume-weighted average price. You could have $1 to VWAP. And congratulations anyone that's in it. Apparently it's halted already once, so it could always do that multiple times. I just think like there's categories of stocks, like the ones that can halt on you and the ones that are unlikely to. And that one seems, if it's already halted once, it's in that category of it's a little bit more likely to happen again. And remember, like there's a difference between trading like a stock that is not going to halt over and over again. Your stops can get respected and all that. But if a stock halts that's that cheap, like it can gap through your stop order, and then all of a sudden, instead of risking 20%, you'd be risking 50% on a stock like SCNX, Scienture. Yeah, so anyways, I'm not going to be touching that one. But SMCI is about to get down to target. It has not broken trend yet, but because I'm now working with this trend under VWAP, it means every single 3-minute bar I move my trailing stop, but about 20 more cents to go, and then we get the bottom that we're looking for. Speaking of bottoms, I think the bottom got put in there in Rigetti.
Oh, good.
And it ends up holding. I was looking for it to hold at 39, and when that didn't happen at the open, I moved away from it. It broke through VWAP, didn't really consolidate anywhere near 39. It actually did so at the 40 level, but it's trying to break out now. So it's back to green. Well, I mean, it's always green, but it's back to green from the open, let's just call it, because the stock opened up above $40. As long as this can hold VWAP, I'm going to favor long. Keep it that simple. So next available dip, I'm looking to go long into the volume weighted average price on Rigetti. Sometimes they try to bamboozle you on a gap up, and I feel like it might have gotten rid of some weaker hands there. Probably the same thing or something similar would be happening on, say, QBTS or an IonQ. It tries to dip at the open, now going higher. I just happen to like the way Rigetti trades.
All right, yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different ones. Like IonQ, I was just looking at it right here. It's not at that 62 mark yet, so that was a name that we were thinking about. So Intel goes right up into the day's high again and is just hovering around there. So like I said, we had sniffed this out on Intel. So we were emptying it out, and then we took an 08 there, or 09, sorry, and then got out at 15. So Intel was good on the reload. I cannot, like, we got stopped out the first time. That was the worst, and then made the money back and then lost it again on that move higher. Didn't lose at all. Like I said, we were getting out. We said that seemed like there was a problem maybe there. And then as we said, like, you know, last time we had a nice move up in the futures, and we didn't really take advantage of it. On that short, so it just came back in again. So we'll start it right now. I've got one unit, looking to get a little bit more, but I want to be specific with what we do. So if it, look, I mean, all right, well, now that it's moving like this, we'll take a dime if we can get it right there in the 80s. But we'll take I just bid 88. Hopefully it fills. But if it pulls back in, you know, the last time we bounced pretty clean off VWAP, so let's take one more piece out there. If it can come into 70 again, so let's put a bid there at 70, and then we'll see if we can get that, and then hopefully hold it out for a VWAP trade. And then if it bounces again off of here, well, we will be waiting to get out in the 30s. So this to me is just like the risk to reward is here for this. If we can scalp out a little bit and make sure that we take something, I'm going to try to take 10% right at this bottom. So if we can get that, then that'll be good. And we'll take our 15 cents on 10% because the risk to the high side, and we're going to have more shares if it comes up here. So this is why I start to look at one R to R, like risk to reward of a 1-to-1 type of thing once I'm in like a full position, because this thing could just rip up and fill me there. And the next thing you know, I have I'm trying to get 4 or 5 units on this. I only have 1 right now. So if this comes up into this area, we will try to short more there. The Nasdaq is having a great day, but it looks like it is having some problems there up near this end. And, you know, there we go. We get that fill. So what did I thought I was at 88. I was at 88. Okay. So we get that 88, and it was on ARCA too. So that looks like maybe we got a good fill down there. Okay, well, or not. Now it's at 87. But if this can come down, we're in a new position. It's the futures. We're going to try that one out. We haven't looked at too many Chinese names, if not at all today. And we looked at Alibaba, and it did have a nice move earlier. We did talk about just missing our bid down there. This is another sort of low bid, and I think I might have to fix my bid now, maybe up to 157. We were waiting for 152. Okay. All right, now we're starting to. I'm going to take out 5% there. I'm going to cancel my 73s right there. So I'm going to go to 105.7. So I just bid 77 there. We do have crude out right now. Let's have a quick look, and then we'll go back over. It's Z contract. Let's just go see. It's gas today. It was crude yesterday. Let's go see what's going on with oil today. We did have some of those sanctions being put on by China against Russia. We talked about that yesterday with oil, with an hour left, about 3 p.m. We got that move up there as President Trump was talking about Russian oil again. And today up another 5%. You don't get oil moving 5% in a day. No. So that's a good move. It might be exhausted up here. Seems like it just wants to chill. So we'll have to wait to see what exactly is going down with oil right now. It doesn't look like much. The stock that I talked about earlier was Valero. So look at that. Straight up. So we talked about this off the open, and it just continues to march higher. Sometimes it's not like these high volume names that we should be looking at. It's like names that are in play. You know, it's not the banks. I wanted to show you guys this because this keeps on sort of hitting on my scanner. And just because it keeps on touching VWAP. You know, like here's my scanner. It's like JP Morgan, Occidental, Microsoft, SMR, JP Morgan again, JP Morgan again. And it's SoFi finally moving?
Oh, yeah, big time.
This is what JP Morgan is doing. Well, I hope SoFi is going up, but.
It's going up.
Oh, okay, good. Maybe there's news on it. So that may be something we should look at, SoFi.
SoFi is fly, and it is going higher. No question. It's only 3%. There's no news that I'm aware of on SoFi, but could just be a little bit of a recovery from yesterday. Before we go to Adara, just very, very quickly, I wanted to get over to Tesla. It's very, very quickly. Tesla looks like it's potentially rolling over. I don't know if we'll ever see that 430 level the way this is kind of going. It's slowing down. It's trying again to break this trend, but it's very close to closing underneath a break of its trend line here. Let's go up to the desk for Adara.
Oh, you're rain.
And Warner Brothers, WBD trying to push a little bit higher here. Warner Brothers Discovery reportedly launching a formal auction as it seeks a bidding war for the company. That's being reported by New York Post. So again, New York Post reporting that Warner Brothers is launching a formal auction as it's apparently looking for a bidding war. We know reportedly earlier this week a lot of different entities, including Netflix and Comcast, are interested in the company. And Warner Brothers already reportedly rejected a bid from Paramount Skydance. Back to you.
Yeah, everyone would love a bidding war. I mean, a bidding war would be nice. If you're rejecting an offer, then obviously it means you think you're worth a little bit more, and more power to them if they can unlock that for shareholders. What up, Joey Options? I like this sweater look. Joey Runway. Forget about this Joey Options. Pure Joey Runway.
Yeah.
You have the pinky up there too as well. I see you got the espresso. Or are you actually drinking an espresso, or is that just?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you never know. Sometimes you just do what they feel and use an espresso cup for other things, which I always find a little bit weird. But that's not me.
All right.
That's not me, man.
I like that look. I'm not.
I do like that look. I like
IonQ is going. Like some of these names,
The
now
quant
finally
names are
starting
going,
to go.
yeah.
So here goes
Finally.
IonQ right now. I was looking at a 62 break. I had written that down before. It's on the sticky note, so I believe, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's not. This is what we talked about. I actually had Palantir on the note. So do we like this 62 break? I mean, it's essentially, I did like it. I'm going to try it. Okay, I'm going to try IonQ breaking through 62. Right now, it is listed on the NYSE. So if that can get going, I'm just saying that because it's our symbols there. I have to type in .NY for that play. I'm not sure, like, why did I like 62 so much? Yeah, that's like 61.50, 61.60. I think it was just like an even dollar break around 62. I mean, we do have that. We do have some areas there. I don't expect this to just break 62 and just like rip uncontrollably. I don't necessarily think that that's something that's going to happen. But let's try it. Let's see a break of 62, and we'll go long if it does break that, and then we'll go and we'll see what it wants to do. We'll take like a unit or so on that. I think it might be worth it. The pullback then, if we're wrong, sometimes you get that break and you fake back in. We've been using the 21 period, and now that the 200 is pretty close. But the thing is that's all the way down there at $60.50. So if we fake and break, like we break and then we don't go up, I'm not holding that at $1.50. It's just not there for me. Although we're not using that many shares, I'll hold it at $1. So that's where the 21 period moving average is, 61. So if we do break, watch out for that 61 level there. We did do a good job. Okay, now the market's starting to rip. We did a good job getting out at the 50 period, but there it is. We get another short there at 15s. So let's see if we can pull back a little bit. Now our average price here is 08s. So if we can get a fill a little lower, we'll take it. But for right now, the market is kind of just hovering around. We have about that unit and a half now on the TQQs. We're still waiting to get a little closer short near those highs. So let's see if this can pay out. The market is strong, and I'm not going to, my month is up, and that's great. So we're happy with that. But again, it's not up that much to where I can't just lose it all today, which I could do. So I'm not ready to do that unless I see a great setup. So I'll just ride this because of how great it was yesterday. Some of these tops around this time. We'll see if it pays out for us right now. I am bidding 03s to see if we can take something out because we just got 15s on the short there. So we want to make sure that when we're going counter trend, we're taking profits. So there, see, like right back into 15 again. Like I could have just reloaded that short if I had gotten out. So let's just see if it. I don't know if this wants to go down, man. I mean, I'm hoping for a negative story at some point, but China could be a good story. So, yeah, it doesn't look like the futures want to go down. We just bounced a couple times.
We are expecting the president later on.
Yeah, I know. So that just
but that's
bounced
up
off
to
of
the
05.
afternoon. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
who knows at this point.
We're expecting him in the afternoon. That last push to that push up.
Oh, here we're
actually
going now.
that just trailed me out of SMCI. So we trended in, and then when it broke the trend, I'll jump out. So there's your consolidation. There's your prior bar break. So I'm out of SMCI, at least for now. As long as this holds on to something along like these lines. If you kind of go to the top and then there, you can tell I like trend lines. That's going to coincide with about $50 in VWAP. So I might get back in as this gets back into the volume weighted average price. For SMCI, also want to keep in mind here, it wasn't just the the poor guy and all this stuff. So technically, SMCI was also breaking down under prior support. But I have to respect that this also bounced off the 50 period and bounced off a good support level. So it's not an automatic all back in if it goes to VWAP at 50 for a continuation. That's a good bounce spot for SMCI, so I want to try to respect that. It has to show me a clean entry, either a trend break or like some topping tail candles in there to jump back into it. Because overall, this market is looking strong, and a rising tide has the tendency to lift all ships.
Oh, yeah.
And one of those ships, I think this is the longest, I think, ever since this AI, whatever revolution has happened, I think this is the longest this show has gone without pulling up a chart of NVIDIA. It's 10:37, and I know I'm pulling it up for the first time this morning for everybody. So it's
is that a new stock or
NVIDIA? You heard of it?
I don't know, something, NVIDIA?
Kind of big. They're kind of big.
Yeah, well, NVIDIA might be running these futures higher right here, so
it's maybe identical to the Q's chart right now, but the difference is NVIDIA hasn't been that relatively strong. So the fact that it's participating today is going to give it some juice. It's another reason maybe to even get out of that SMCI and look for the next opportunity. It might be Beyond Meat. I'm kind of looking over at that name. It's still, Beyond Meat is still just kind of languishing at that $3 level, but it just retested a break of VWAP. If it fails this break of VWAP, then I jump back into the short. That's how I got in last time. It did a topping tail candle through 3, and then when it opened underneath, I shorted it underneath $3. So right now, it could be doing a topping tail candle above 3, and then I could short it under VWAP. So I think that's the next opportunity, at least for myself. And let us know, keep letting us know what you guys want to watch, because when I look at the visualizer, it's not like these are new names. It's that SCNX, Open Door, Beyond Meat, Tesla, APL, the SMCIs in there, Deft. I don't even know what that is.
I know, I looked at that, I was like, I don't know.
You did, yeah. Robin Hood's in there, ARAB, we talked about IBM, IonQ, of course, we've talked about that. As well, we just went over NVIDIA. So I feel like the only thing that we haven't looked at is APLD, maybe.
All right, we just got into IONQ right now, so let's just have a quick little look to see what that's doing. We are short the futures, and that's not going good. I mean, like I said, we're not going too crazy with all of that. But here we go, man. New position right now. IONQ, we talked about this earlier, breaking through $62. So we do have a position on right now. Let's see if it wants to work its way higher. We'll get out of 5% or so at 62.20s because, you know, I like to play some of these ranges. So here it comes upside. Let's just see if it wants to go. This may just take us out of our futures position as well, as the market's starting to get going a little bit now, taking out the highs. So we're right here right now. We are steps away from getting stopped out. We're short now at 27s here on the TQQs. It's going to hurt because we have shares on, but you know, the short just has not been right, and we should have got away from that. So congratulations to everybody that stuck with the long look there. That is for sure. But here we go, man. It's IonQ. It's going to be like my new little, okay, futures just made a move down, Neil. So I just had to talk about it a little bit. And we did get that fill there on IONQ and on the futures. So things looking a little bit up for me there. But that was a nice little flush. So we do wind up taking something out there at 30s. So that was a good move down. Don't know where that came from. Got an average out there, but here it comes. We're going to get stopped out soon on this play. The futures are just wild to the upside today. You're getting a little couple ticks down and then just rips right back up. So we got to make sure that we do take outs when we are seeing this, because we don't need to get completely waxed on all these positions. So we'll take another piece out there at 34. Right now, man, it's IonQ that is getting going here. So good trade. Yeah, man. Here's 40 cents. We're getting excited again on this one. So IonQ saving the day for me a little bit here. Let's get another out at 37, and there it is. Good trading on IonQ. We go over to the momentum, man. We finally learn our lesson. I'm going to go to it there in a second. I got to find the slap icon here because I got to slap my face around there, because we just should have really focused on momentum instead of trying to short into momentum, which was not a great idea. But there's a couple outs there on the top side for IonQ. It is fading back a little bit, and these futures need to pull a little bit lower. Let's go over to Adara with only 20 minutes left in our show.
This market pushing a little bit higher here, and you can really see that reflected in the strength in tech names. Electronic technology strong across the board. Only exception here is Apple, which is still up but relatively flat compared to some of its peers. Tech services looking really good here. Oracle up 2.5%. ORCL and OpenAI, along with Vantage, announcing that they're going to expand their Stargate project into Wisconsin. We've got Palantir to the upside, AppLove and CrowdStrike, Google, Meta, all really strong in this sector. Producer manufacturing also doing well here, aided by a almost 4% move to the upside on LRCX for earnings day one. Then we have strength in energy minerals as well. And of course, these oil names are going to be on watch as we have these sanctions against Russian oil. Now, in terms of weakness, Tesla leading the consumer durables to the downside. TSLA reported last night. Ford reports tonight after the bell. Communications a bit mixed here. Day two earnings for AT&T, day one for TMUS. Industrial services with some weakness. So same with consumer services and utilities. So tech here and producer manufacturing and oil generally strong. Everything else going to be a little bit of a laggard today. Now, before we send you back to our friends, or back to Sean and Neil, who are also our friends, we're going to take our friends at Woman Boss, because empowered women change the world. And you can help make it happen. The Woman Boss trains and mentors women and girls across Africa to lead, innovate, and thrive. Since 2018, we've reached over 10,000 women and girls. Your donation today can launch the next great entrepreneur. Scan the QR code on screen now. Join us in building a brighter future. Back to you.
Appreciate it, Adara. Thank you for that. So let's, maybe. I just went over to AMD, which was still not breaking the highs. It suddenly looks distinctly different. At the open, this was one of the stronger names. With the market at top, this is actually putting in lower highs. So looking for a re-entry into that one to the south side as we speak. And then Beyond Meat as well. Beyond Meat's actually really going here.
Really?
Yeah, it's
okay.
It's retesting that high. I didn't short it at this high because I was waiting for like 360, like this top in here. But I don't want to make that mistake again. As it comes into a double top, I'm going to look for the trend break on Beyond Meat. So I like the short, and if I like the short, then I have to wait for a setup. Like there's a setup, that should have been a setup, and then I'll wait for the other one here. YYAI, just shorting under VWAP. If it gets there, then you'll see me refill it. If it breaks VWAP, I'll be out. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting in this one pretty much all day long as it heads. I mean, southbound, like I said. These guys, they're doing a reverse split. When you announce that, my expectation is that you're just going to go down, generally speaking. So going to slap a trend line on Beyond Meat. This is the small capper that I'm watching. AMD, I already mentioned. If we pop back into that 33 we entered last time, I'm going to take that. SMCI, well, it didn't get to 50, suffice to say. It's right. It's right back underneath where I covered. It actually held that 49 pretty well and continues to go lower, down 7%. These guys may not care what the market is doing overall. I just felt with the market breaking out, I wanted to re-enter at VWAP on the short. And if you're just tuning in, SMCI just this morning reporting disappointing update on their full year 2026 guidance.
So I kind of, first of all, hot dog cannon. We got saved, I don't know. We could turn green on the TQs. I mean, like I said, we were waiting. Yesterday, the move happened around 10:30. I'm not like a time-based trader or anything like that. I was just saying like maybe potentially there is a drop down, and we said that when we're playing counter trend, we're going to just empty out our clip as we get going back in. So it comes right into the 21 period moving average there at 10. So we did empty out basically half. So right now we have a little bit less. I probably have about 40% on. Okay, Neil. Now we are cooking with gas. That was a nice move to the downside. We just got a great fill down there. Actually, we got 97s on the TQs there. So that was a good one there. And I was going to say we did wimp out a little bit on IonQ, but it was able to get out there. It just broke through 50, which was the key there for me. But there's a nice move down. Darn it, we did not have enough shares down there on that whoosh play on the market there. Just went to 85s right there. So I don't know what that was all about. Some algo read something wrong, I guess. But there it is. Nice move to the downside there. Oh, man, that sucks because that did flush us on IonQ. But I was going to tell you we didn't have very many shares left. We're actually flat on IonQ. So when this ripped up, we got 40 cents there. Then we got out at 80. That's a 90 fill. That's a 70 fill. And that's a 50 fill. So it's kind of like all in all, it's fine. But definitely, we were waiting for that move to happen. When the futures cranked lower, we were able to take advantage of that. So I was like, okay, I don't want to be layered in or holding on to IonQ. Meanwhile, layering into short here. So we took advantage of that. Here's a nice little bump back up there. Can't believe we just got 80. We just got 97. Now it's 40 cents higher. And I'm actually trading this with shares. So it is a little...
That was a violent bounce.
Yeah, I don't...
AMD bounced $1 in like a split second. And then you could on the tape you could see it because I was actually looking for AMD. I felt like they got the back door.
Garbage bin.
They got the back door open. I just heard a bunch of bottles breaking. I was looking for a breakdown under VWAP to get back into a short on AMD, and in one candle it just shoots right back up. So the buyers just jumped in en masse. This might change things. a little bit here for sure. I probably have to go over to something a little bit weaker like that SMCI. But I didn't get into Rigetti
there
either.
Goes. The market just blew up. So.
And Rigetti is, now it looks like program buying on Rigetti. This is very, very linear here on Rigetti. And if it's going to do this, I can either wait till it breaks trend to buy the dip, or I can try to just buy the dip on trend with a tight stop. If it holds that trend line, just kind of hope it can go from like 41.5 to 42, and then just give it really, really tight stops. Because it just, again, from VWAP, just bottoming tail wicked that trend line. So I'm going to try to sneak in here in front of 50 with a very, very tight stop, because I don't know if we get a big, massive dip to get the price that I want. I don't want to miss this potential move. Like, these have so much, I guess, so much room to go. I think resistance isn't until 43.5, so I want a piece of the pie. The Rigetti pie, that is. Beyond Meat, still the same thing.
The Rigetti pie.
It's about 10% from that resistance spot, so I'm just being patient, waiting for a chance to get into that short. Speaking of pie, I'm going to make the assumption you guys didn't have pie for lunch yesterday.
I can't remember what it was yesterday.
Every time
it was Thai. It was Thai basil beef. It was actually really good.
Oh, that was.
I thought it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Well, no, this was the one time it was undercooked though. Overcooked.
No. That was fine. But they had the thing that you like, the cucumber, tomato, onion.
Oh yeah,
vinegar,
I love that. It's a little too much. If I was making, it's a little too much vinegar.
Yeah,
but
they did have that. So, all right, we're back in right now. We will do what's for lunch in a couple minutes. We're right now in on this play. So here we go. Let's wait to see back in on IonQ, and there it goes. Now we're 30 cents in the money. Now on, or 20 cents in the money on IonQ right there. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening now with this name. Who knows what's going to happen, but for right now, we're waiting. So we're going to see where this goes. IonQ starting to go back up there to the upside one more time. We're still short the market right at these levels. So that's been wrong, man, and I just can't believe this market. Nice upside play today. We can check out Tesla. We haven't looked at that in a minute. Go IonQ. Wow, what a good play that was to get back in there. Honestly, man, I'll pat myself on the back there, because that was something that I got stopped out there on that flush. And I told you what's my thing doing? Oh, yeah, I want to go to Tesla. But anyways, okay, let's go to Tesla and go have a quick look. But we did get stopped out on that flush there. We were able to take a little bit of advantage on that one with the futures. But now the futures are Rip City, but so is IonQ. So that's okay for us right there. All right, Tesla is still not doing anything. I wanted to check this out. I thought it would be a little different than where we are. Okay, now we're going, man. Now we're going. It's 70 cents in the money here on IonQ. Let's take something out in the mid-60s. We just might have topped out there, but we got this play. How far can we go back on IonQ is what we're looking for. So good trade so far there, but it is an upside play for IONQ. Finally, I get into a long, and it is printing. So, all right, not bad. It's 10:50 now. We got to go talk to Adara, and then we'll come back and figure out what is exactly on the menu for lunch.
Here's the US dollar not doing too much here right now. I mean, slightly lower high, trying to form possibly in the daily chart, but again, that uptrend is continued. And tomorrow, we get the data we have been waiting very long for, the CPI print for September. Again, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, has said that data is going to be released tomorrow. We also had Scott Bessent, U.S. Treasury Secretary, yesterday commenting that he believes that we'll probably get a decrease in CPI either this month or next month. So if that happens, these rate cuts could be a little bit faster. Let's talk about these rate cuts for one moment, because we still have, for next week's meeting, it's actually 6 days away now, the October Fed meeting on October 29th. 98.9% of participants expecting a 25 basis point rate cut, just over 1% expecting a hold. It's also worth noting, I just want to mention this, guys, saw this earlier today, JP Morgan apparently saying that they believe the Fed is going to be ending QT, or quantitative tightening, during this meeting. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, of course, now the futures start to come back in, but that's all good. Yeah, you want to talk about Rigetti a bit?
Oh, like I said, I'm going to scalp it off of this ridiculously tight trend line. So see what it did here? This is just my plan of action, because if it does a big dip, then VWAP or like the prior high at 40.60 for a traditional type trade. But on a 3-minute, it bottom-tailed this trend from here. It bottom-tailed till the next bar opens green. I'm going long and giving it to the trend line, and then the second it closed that next candle, or opened that next candle underneath the high, it was essentially like 41.7 into 42, and then it opened that bar underneath, so just jump out. If it does the same bounce off the trend line, scalp it again, because it doesn't look like, that's actually That's actually a 40-cent range in there, which is almost a full percentage point on Rigetti. So if I can see it continue to do that, where it's keeping this green pattern, but I can just play these little scalp trades, it's too far for I'm going to buy here and hold for the rest of the day. I'm just not chasing a $4 move off the low. So scalping it in and out is going to make some sense, at least to me, as they're super strong. Right now, the quantum names are all the rage, whether it's IonQ, Rigetti, QBTS. I don't know if QBTS is moving quite as much. Whoops. See, why? I know why it hit blue ocean there, because it's like it just comes up and then the drop down. Yeah, QBTS looking pretty strong as well. So the entire group looking very, very good. I'm not done with the notion of short, but the spot that I'm looking is still going to be SMCI because of its relative weakness. Still nothing seems to be able to get this past 49 where we exited before. It's just got all kinds of resistance. I don't want to short it at that bottom. I'm looking for it to get back into 50. I might nibble. I'm trying to be patient. And I'm going to hold on to this YYAI, but it's finally getting close to VWAP. So here it comes into the volume weighted average price. I think this might be my opportunity to be able to get the first reload since like 9:40 in the morning on this stock at 11 cents. Probably have to move my stop a little bit tighter, down into like 11.7 or 11.5 on YYAI. The biggest, I think it did the more volume than any stock in the market yesterday, but it's a penny stock, so that kind of makes a little bit of sense. And then today they announced they're doing a reverse split. I'm not sure the effective date, but obviously when you're a 10-cent stock, you hang underneath that for too long, you're going to get delisted. So they're going to do a reverse split so they can not regain, but maintain compliance, I suppose.
All right, so I know we're talking a lot about quantum here, but I'm going to get out a little bit more on IonQ. We did get some good highs again, but another 50-cent ringer, so those are pretty good. So we'll get some more out here at 25, and now hopefully you can get back up to the upside. In the failed trade of the day for me, basically, now it tanks. So, you know, we got stopped out there on the high side. We did have a lot of shares up there and got stopped out. Still completely within our days range and expectation for when we trade the TQQs. It's not like we're down a whole bunch. We're down what we make on this, and here it comes in again. So now it's back in. So now it's 20 cents winner. We're bidding 02s right now on this, hopefully to get that back. But maybe IonQ will just lead the way for us. That is for sure. And we're gonna have to always figure out, because it is a segment that we have, depending on what they bring today. It's called What's for Lunch, Russell. So let's go figure out there what is for lunch today. All right. Well, today's, unfortunately,
Bacon wrapped filet mignon.
Yeah, it might not be beef again, but beef stroganoff was what, 70-1 or something the other day as we had those odds going. Today's breakfast was French toast. Okay, there we go. Yes, we just get these O2s right now. The gates of hell are opening up in the market a little bit right there as the futures are coming back down. So that's going to be hopefully a good play for us as it just hit the 50-period moving average. So that was a good one. We're making some money back right there. Okay, today is Thursday. And there hasn't been many of these for me today. I hope for you there's been. I know you had some good trades on, but we have chicken dinner winners. We have one in the futures now. We have one in IonQ. So we're going to go out for you guys with good levels. But today, this actually could be pretty good. It's chilly. It's cold outside. And this is chili-like. This is country chicken stew. I don't know if we've had that before.
I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that is.
It's going to be bigger pieces. I would say it's going to be
country
stew. It's going to be
stew?
Who's hitting that?
Who actually knows what that is?
Who's hitting that? It better not be Joey No Pie over there. Joe, stop hitting that, man. It says, all right, country chicken stew, which I think is going to be good. I think just bigger pieces of potato, bigger pieces of vegetable. That's generally what a country stew is.
Okay.
With garlic mashed potatoes and steamed vegetables and a salad. So we'll have some stew or some chicken.
Garlic mash?
On top. I think it'll be good.
Garlic mash is you should have.
I think that's a winner.
Lead with the garlic mash, and then.
I think that's a winner today. So we'll do that, and we'll be fun and have a good time with that. But it's a good time right now for the TQs, but oh boy, man, we did get out of that at the top side. So not super pleased with the way we performed on our most recent short, but we're back in it a little bit now trying to make some money. It's trying to bounce off the 50-period moving average. Let's give this one an opportunity to fall. Okay, maybe this is finally the move. It's happening a little later today than it did yesterday. Maybe this is the move. Is Tesla finally giving something up? No, so that's not it. IBM, we know, battled back a little bit. It did exactly battle back. So I don't know what's cracking lower right now. I mean, on my watch list. I was basically looking at all the big stocks and the popular ones. It's SMCI down 6, but we knew that. That's not moving much. That's $49. Tesla also down 4%, 3.5%. We already know that. That price isn't doing anything. Yesterday's big trade of the day, we had a few of them, but DraftKings was great at $34. Maybe we can look at that. Disney's also down today. Netflix barely down 1111111 there for Netflix, and then Coinbase. Now, after that, man, everything is pretty up. SOXL's up. Oxy with the news on oil there. Robinhood now up. That's nice. That was down to 120 or something earlier, 123 or something. That's nice. SMR up as well. BABA, we looked at that stock. We should have been long Alibaba from the open. That was stupid of me. $200 in Micron. We did write down Palantir. What? Palantir 180? Palantir was 173 or something in the pre-market, and I was like, maybe we'll get a 170. Yeah. I was like, maybe we'll get 170 on Palantir. Wow. Missed opportunity on Palantir as that name is ripping to the north side today.
You know what also was up? Gold.
Yeah, man, we bought some gold on that.
Yeah, like gold following pretty much the same thing that the overall market is doing with its nice little bounce there. You know, that actually is making me think I should be looking at silver today. Silver is relatively weak, so that's one check. Yeah, what's this look like? Oh yeah, this could be a nice continuation play. The market breaking out, gold trying to break out, silver putting in a bit of a lower high. This might be something worthy of a short trade off the high of the day on silver. It's not really moving a heck of a lot, but if a reverse happens in this metal name, it tends to fall faster than gold. Is just that's my 2 cents. Oh no, okay, well, I wanted this to work for everybody, but it looks like Rigetti, like I was just scalping it and I was telling you the plan, but now it's broken trend, so I didn't short the trend break, but I'm looking for a long back at the prior high. That'll be about 40.50. So it's starting to come back in here, this quantum name, looking to play a long back into this 40.5 level that you can see. Let's go up to the desk. Only minutes ago, we'll throw you to the midday, but we got Adara first.
Keep an eye here on GM. We're getting commentary from Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney saying that GM is going to be fulfilling its commitments to employees at its Ontario factory as it ends electric van production. But he says, quote, we're not satisfied with that, and he wants to see what else could be made at the plant. Either way, GM pushing a little bit higher. It's also day 2 earnings for General Motors. Back to you.
And GM just recently making those fresh highs.
Yeah, GM was a monster, man. I mean, there's so much profit in the gas engines there, so combustion engines. So GM doing that. They're not making any money, I don't think, on their
everybody loses money on EV.
Yeah, so
unless you're Tesla or some Chinese company, you're losing money every electric vehicle.
I wonder if those companies are even losing money. We just don't know about it. Okay, so Beyond Meat again with only 15 seconds left, down 15% today. Has been worse, has been better, stuck in the middle. So if you're looking at this name, I always prefer when you're looking at names that have a lot of volume to it that you do try to look at 50-period moving averages and VWAP and all that. So you're coming right into it here. We've bounced off of this a little bit when it was trying to hold. Then we broke through and actually got going now. So you're back into VWAP right now on Beyond Meat, but that's not this trade today. Trades today, I think it was Open Door as that sort of got going to the upside right now. So yeah, those are the meme stocks that are going to keep catching all of our eyes.
Yeah, they pass.
So yeah. Hopefully you have a good time. I'm going back to the gym here today. I got my stuff here, so it's been 2 weeks. So now when I ruin my eyes now, I'll just say it to you. You told me I'd go back after 2 weeks, so we'll have. I got the goggles on swimming, right?
I mean, fine.
It should be fine. We've got our little lube going on here.
Worry about it.
Right here. ABBV, by the way, producing this, so good. All right, man.
I'm the same way. I'm like that as well. Like when you look at stocks all the time, like I remember when I was going through like a hospital, and all I was noticing was like, what's the company on the box of whatever? Yeah. Like I saw Medtronic everywhere, and then I was seeing Abbott Labs.
Abbott Labs, eh?
Like you can't go 5 feet in a hospital without seeing something by Abbott Labs. But it's just when you look at stocks, that's how you start to think of things. Looking forward to whatever this, I guess, country chicken stew is going to be like, because I have no idea.
Stew, you get a gravy in there. I mean, I think you're going to like it.
I'm looking forward to it, but you guys should be looking forward to Joey Runway.
Yep.
And Sharif, the professor himself.
Yep. They're both here.
Go get them. I promise you, one of them she'll be looking at the quantum names, at least.
Both.